state that has this rebellion going on, and that, of course, is Minnesota. Do you really think it's just a coincidence that the one state where there's this massive rebellion going on against the federal government, against the President of the United States, against federal agents, it just so happens to be where 3 weeks ago Nick Shirley found the largest financial scandal in the history of the United States? Of course it's not a coincidence. Of course it's not a coincidence. And, you know, there's an old saying in media, burying the lead. And everyone in the media is burying the lead, all right? Tim Walz and the Democrats called out the original protesters. They called out the original protesters to try to get ICE to leave the state of Minnesota. They think it'll stop the investigation into the fraud. I mean, that's the lead that no one in the media seems to want to cover. Now, with that being said, when you put on fake protest with fake protesters, real protesters will show up, okay? So not everyone in Minneapolis is a paid protester. The originals are. Some of the leadership certainly are. When I say leadership, I'm talking about the people that are organizing the things. But a lot of real liberal lunatics have shown up too. However, 3 weeks into this, we still have not seen it spread into other cities around the country. Okay, it's isolated in Minnesota. So how could this be? It's isolated in Minnesota. The protest didn't start. The ICE raid started before Nick Shirley's reporting, and they've been going on for about a year now in all 50 states. And the protests are getting more and more intense as the days go on. It's obvious what's going on here. The President of the United States, Donald Trump, he really has to take some action here. Things are getting out of control. We'll talk about that. Now, a lot of people are saying that, oh, well, you know, President Trump should pull out. You know, some conservatives, some of the Fox News reporting yesterday was just outright bizarre. Bartiromo and others, some of what Comer was talking about on Fox. We may get into that a little bit later, but Fox News on their Sunday programming they sounded like they were on the side of Tim Walz and the anti-ICE protesters. And there are some conservatives that are talking about, well, you know, they should withdraw. President Trump should pull ICE out. You can't do that. You can't do that. Not just because, you know, it would stop the investigation going on into the corruption of Tim Walz. If the federal government were to retreat out of Minnesota and stop this, these things would happen in every other state to try to stop the deportations. All right. Now, you know, from the deportation, and President Trump has responded to Tim Walz. We're going to get into all of this on the program today. You know, these nationwide protests, it really is surprising to me that there's been so little protest against the deportations. And I know you're saying, what do you mean so little? Look what's going on in Minnesota. Minneapolis is one place with deportations going on in all 50 states, all over the place, and many different areas. Sometimes just on the side of the road with highway patrol checking truck drivers. Sometimes it's a raid. Sometimes it's warrants knocking on doors. But it's happening everywhere. And I remember when President Trump was running for re-election this time around, and we would talk about this, I would tell you guys, the media and the Democrats, there's going to be nationwide meltdowns over the deportations. And what we're seeing is that is not the case. We had some early incidents in Los Angeles that faded away, right? Remember, they were throwing rocks at the armored ICE vehicles and such, and those faded away. And then we have this in Minnesota. There were a few other incidents in California too. Remember, there was an incident on a farm and they had children working on the farm, all that stuff. There were a couple of early incidents in California, but it died off quickly and nothing's come back until this. And, you know, now so far as the shooting of Pretti is 100% responsible for this. Okay? You don't bring a gun to a political protest against the police and interfere with the police. And some of the video that I've seen of Pretti, This guy was out of his mind. It's scary to me. And I'm sorry that the man lost his life. Don't misunderstand me. I don't want anyone to lose their life. But people do stupid things that sometimes, unfortunately, cost them their life. And Pretti, that's what he did. But I've seen some of the video of Pretti leading up to the incident. He was an organizer or a leader in this anti-ICE movement. Have you seen the video of him in the street directing traffic? He's directing the anti-ICE people like he's a traffic cop. I mean, what's going on here with this guy? What did he think he was doing? And then he interfered when, ICE, ICE are federal police officers, like any other cop out there. They were dealing with this woman, and Pretti injected himself into it. And he brought a gun with extra magazines to an anti-police, very high-end, so far as tension, very heated situation protest. And he was obstructing cops in their duty. And what possessed him to do that? But he put in motion and did everything that led to him being shot. What was he reaching for? Who knows? Why did he have so much ammunition? To me, he was obviously there to cause trouble. Was Pretti there to become a mass shooter? It certainly looked like it. He had a minimum of 30 rounds of ammo, maybe 50 rounds of ammo. He had no less than 30 rounds of ammo. His gun was loaded, and he had 2 magazines. So he had no less than 30 rounds. Why did he need 30 rounds? And he had that red dot targeting scope thing on his gun. Why did he have such a device on his gun? Everything about Pretti, everything he did was wrong. Everything he did set into motion what led to, sadly, his death. He is 100% responsible. So why did he have so much ammunition? Why did he have that red dot laser scope thing on his gun, like Arnold Schwarzenegger in the first Terminator movie? If you look at how he was acting, and you looked at how Pretti was strapped, does he not look like someone who was planning a mass shooting event? And if he was involved in a mass shooting event, who would he be shooting? ICE officers. So it's not even up for debate what this guy was doing. Everything he did was 150% wrong. Okay, and I know the greatest of a whole is 100, but it was so wrong, and we have to add in the rest. In what world do you bring a loaded gun with extra ammo, right? With a laser targeting system on your handgun to an anti-police protest? There's no scenario where that's okay. And he was involved with some very bad people, no doubt about it. I know these lunatic activists that have gotten themselves killed, Pretti and Renee Good. I know they want you to think and look at them as if they are, they're all artists, innocent people. They're all charitable people doing work as a nurse and all this stuff. Listen to this article in Fox this morning. It's the lead article at foxnews.com right now. Here's the headline. The far-left network that helped put Alex Pretti in harm's way then made him a martyr. This is Fox News lead story right now as I'm speaking. I'm going to read through some of this. If you're on hold, hang in there. If you'd like to call in, the number is pinned in the live chat, 888-465-2631. If you're new to my channel, my name's Brian. This is where MAGA comes to talk. The radio show will start in about 20 or 25 minutes, so that you got the pre-show here. The skirmish that led to Saturday's fatal shooting of an agitator by Border Patrol agents in Minneapolis and the response that followed were driven by a complex network of far-left organizations with a wide range of causes. A coordinated web of encrypted chats, street alerts, and tracking of ICE abductors, that's what they call the ICE agents in this, and a sophisticated database reviewed by Fox News shows that agitators were already mobilized at the scene where 37-year-old Alex Pretti was killed minutes before any shots were fired. ICE and Border Patrol agents were there to arrest an illegal immigrant, and Pretti and others were there outside a donut shop to meet them as part of a strategic pattern of organized interference with law enforcement operations. And that's why Pretti was in the street directing traffic. Over the following hours, a national network of socialist, communist, and Marxist-Leninist cells in the United States leveraged the tragic fatality into a nationwide protest operation. While grief and outrage over Pretti's death is genuine, the network's real-time rapid response, using short, sensational video clips and emojis as weapons of propaganda, offers a window into the disciplined logistics, messaging, and coordination of far-left warriors fomenting insurgency-like confrontations with authorities. See, none of this is organic. There is a well-oiled, organized machine here. This story is the lead story on Fox. It's a very good story. The level of engineered chaos is unique to Minneapolis. It is the direct consequence of far-left agitators working with local authorities, Vice President J.D. Vance posted on X. The encrypted signal messages obtained by Fox News in real time show, see, they got this signal chat, which, and by the way, signal chat that's how the CIA, that's how the deep state coordinates. So you got to wonder, is this some anti-Trump deep state operation going on too? The encrypted signal messages obtained by Fox News in real time show that anti-ICE rapid responders were actively tracking, broadcasting, and summoning backup around federal agents outside Glam Doll Donuts at Nicollet Avenue, where the shooting happened. Local rapid responders made at least 26 entries into a database called MN, the abbreviation for Minnesota, ICE plates in the critical hours before and after the killing, documenting the license plate numbers and details of alleged ICE vehicles they claim to see around Nicollet Avenue. The entry at row 344 reads, "At the Nicollet murder, chronicling a black Jeep Wagoneer at the location with agents allegedly involved in shooting." Row 338 had a Glam Doll Donuts entry tracking a black Ford Taurus. So see, here they are in this signal chat tracking the ICE officers after the incident to cause more mayhem. See, this is the organized insurrection. These are insurrectionists. At 9:50 a.m. Eastern Time, just before the killing, a user identified as Willow shared a 22-second video on an encrypted signal chat for anti-ICE rapid responders. 26 and 3rd wrote Willow, quickly following up with "outside Glam Doll." The video showed two agents, one wearing a vest marked police, studying the front door of Glam Doll before walking away past a sign in the window that read, "ICE out of Minnesota." As the camera rolled, the person filming yelled, "No!" The camera followed the agents as they returned to a maroon Dodge Durango, passing another sign in the window that read, "All welcome here." In the video, someone shouted, "Get out of here!" Just 3 minutes later, at 9:53 a.m. Eastern, a second signal user, Salacious B. Crum, escalated the alert, summoning additional responders and citing the same vehicle and agent. See the military-like precision of this operation? This is not some organic operation or protest of people just showing up. And as time goes on, we're going to probably find that Pretti was very deep into this. That's why he was strapped with all the ammo. Backup needed at the Black Forest Inn parking lot on Nicollet Avenue, just south of 26th Street, the message read. Multiple vehicles with Many agents appear to be staging there, the alert continued. One confirmed ICE vehicle seen was a maroon Dodge Durango. And by the way, they give out plate numbers and everything in this signal group. But it is driven away northbound on Nicollet. Fox News has redacted the Florida license plates, okay? ICE Assistant Director Marcos Charles said Sunday that the violence on the street was not a coincidence considering the chaos and mayhem, that agitators are fermenting in Minneapolis. At the same press conference, Bovino, he's the Border Patrol head, confirmed that Pretti was on the scene several minutes before the shooting. Video of the scene shows that as Pretti stepped into the middle of Nicollet Avenue to direct traffic, and I've seen the video, you guys have seen the video of that. Fellow agitators could be heard blowing whistles to alert locals that ICE officers were around. Soon after, Pretti ended up in a street confrontation with Border Patrol agents across the street from Glam Doll Donuts outside a worn storefront marked New American Development Center, a nonprofit focused on immigration programs for Somalis. Within minutes, at about 10:05 a.m. Eastern, at least one Border Patrol agent shot Pretti, killing him. At 10 a.m. Eastern, the signal network erupted. Using a red phone emoji to signal an all points alert, a message blasted out, urgent. Observers urgently requested a Glam Doll Donuts at 26th and Nicollet. The alert continued. An observer has been shot by ICE. Unknown condition. EMT present. Please be safe. Medics requested to join perimeter in case agents start gassing. Be aware that there are many agents and Minneapolis police officers present. Oh, I mean, this is really, I got to tell you, the more I look at this, does this sound like a CIA operation? This is probably the best Fox News article I've ever read. I don't read too many articles on the program. I read a lot and I'll share my thoughts and things. I don't read too often directly from news articles like this. Not so much, not a full article like this. But this article is an amazing piece of investigative reporting. Does this sound like deep state CIA operatives to you? This is a military-like operation. Within minutes, far-left activists descended on Nicollet Avenue. Soon after, a video showed boxes of supplies lined up on a Minneapolis sidewalk for protesters, including boxes marked masks and free winter hats next to piles of bottled water. Look at the supply chain that they have. The water's for the gas in the eyes. They've got masks. They got everything you need to fight a revolution. Within hours, socialist leaders turbocharged the rapid responders in Minneapolis and mobilized street protesters from New York to Los Angeles. Media outlets, including CNN and MS Now, described angry protesters, but failed to identify the ideological networks behind the mobilization, even as protesters flashed their signs with their logos and names touting socialism, communism, and Marxism on camera. This is really scary. The Minneapolis activation marked the beginning of an almost instantaneous weekend surge by far-left organizations, including hardened socialist and communist groups operating in an ecosystem that national security experts describe as an insurgent-style operation designed to exploit tragedy to wage a domestic political war. The strategy mirrors past mobilizations, including the aftermath of George Floyd, and they go on to some others. Just as they responded in real time to mobilize comrades, that's what they call themselves, to march on the streets within 12 hours of the U.S. arrest of Venezuelan strongman Nicolas Maduro in early January, socialist, communist, and Marxist-Leninist groups now frame their activation as an action within the belly of the beast against the hyper-imperialism of the United States. Based on a digital analysis of scores of rapid response messages following the killing on Saturday, a hub of communist and socialist nonprofit organizations emerged as key organizers of these fake protests. Many of them are funded by American-born billionaire Neville Roy Singham, a self-declared Marxist-Leninist living in Shanghai. Some are offshoots of the People's Forum, Inc., a nonprofit hub that the same guy funded. At 10:48 Eastern, breakthrough news. a 501c nonprofit and propaganda arm of the People's Forum, broke the news widely of the killing, sharing a video recorded from inside the Glam Doll donut shop of the tussle outside, punctuated by gunshots and frantic narration. Holy S, what the F? Did they effing kill the guy? Effing kidding me, dude. Breakthrough News put a dramatic black and white caption over the video. Breaking, another CBP shooting in Minneapolis. By Sunday afternoon, the video had 4.1 million views, alongside the outlet's call to support the People's Republic of China, Venezuela's Maduro, and the Communist Revolution in Cuba. Remember, Cuba's about to fall. Before the video cuts off, someone can be heard saying, "Yo, we need people on site." At 11:40 a.m., Breakthrough News broadcast a 39-second video showing Minnesota National Guard soldiers charging across the street with batons. Soon after, at 12:24 p.m., the Party for Socialism and Liberation, a political wing of the movement, working with shared leadership at the People Forum, published a quickly made graphic. It goes on. I mean, these, they do this. I am only about halfway through the story. If you're on hold, hang in there. So the reason I've read, that's about half the story. It's the lead story at the Fox News. The reason I read that in so much detail is we have to do away with this myth that these are just organic social justice warriors who have left their job at the VA, dropped their kid off for school and went here. These are not organic, real protest. This is some type of deep state operation. Maybe it's our deep state. Maybe it's the CCP. Who knows? But this is not an organic Now, that doesn't mean that everyone there is a deep state operative. There's a lot of liberal lunatics out there. So when you do these things and put these things on that are fake, real people show up. All right? And President Trump and ICE have to stand their ground. They cannot leave Minnesota. If they pull out of Minnesota, they'll view this as a victory, and it'll start popping up in other cities. Because remember, deportations are happening throughout the United States right now as we speak. We only have the protest here. But if they see that they can act out as they've done and run ICE out of the state, run President Trump out of the state, they'll spring up all over the place. So I want to take your calls on this. The number is toll-free no matter where you're watching. It is pinned in the live chat. It's 888-465-2631. 888-465-2631. I want to hear your opinions about all of the weekend events with the shooting. So I don't want you to, it's not open phones. The conversation needs to stay within the bounds of this incident, okay? But you're welcome to bring up any points, at least for the time being, that took place throughout the incident up until now. I have some questions that I'd like to ask you. I mean, does this sound like an organized deep state operation? It does to me. Do you think it's us? Do you think it's the CCP? Remember Tim Walz's China connections. What are your thoughts on Pretti bringing a gun and extra ammo? He brought 2 extra magazines. I was talking on my podcast over the weekend. I've lived in Florida since I was a little kid. I've known, almost every guy I've known at some point we have open carry in Florida now, but that is somewhat new. We've had concealed carry forever. And virtually literally my entire life, almost every guy I've known has concealed carried at least once, right? Sometimes they do it all the time, including myself. Have you known anyone who concealed carries with extra magazines? There's exceptions to every rule, but I haven't known a single person who brought extra magazines while they're concealed carrying. No one does that. You don't do that. The only time that I have extra ammo is when I'm going to the gun range. Okay. Now I know I got a lot of calls over the weekend from liberals. All the liberals are gun owners. They carry tons of ammo everywhere. That's just not the way it is. People that are regular concealed carry permit holders do not go around with extra ammunition on their person already loaded in magazines. That's just, people just don't do that. So why did Pretti have the gun? Why did he have the 2 extra magazines? A minimum of 30 rounds, maybe 50 at the moment, but a minimum of 30 rounds. Why did he have that special targeting red dot laser scope on the pistol? And why was he interfering with police officers while he was armed that way? I mean, nothing about what he did was right. Everything Pretti did was wrong. All right, I will take a call or two, but the radio show starts. Let me see here what time we're coming on. Right, we've got a little less than 10 minutes until the radio show starts, so I'll take a call or two before. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
I'm calling from Miami, Florida.
All right, I'm in South Florida myself. What's on your mind, Miami?
Right, I just got one question. Why don't you have Super Chat on?
I do. If you're interested, the chat's on. All right, I appreciate the call. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from? You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from? All right. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from? You're on the air. Once.
Yeah, good morning.
Hey, Richie.
Yeah, good morning,
Just
Brian.
made it, Richie.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm glad I did, because this lieutenant governor is involved in this underground police force that they have, where if you go from the airport, you rent a car. I mean, I know you're a guy that you like your privacy. If you rent a car, they follow a license plate, they deem you ICE, and then they put you in their database, and she's involved, the lieutenant governor of Minnesota. She's scrubbing her whole Facebook. They're panicking like crazy. This Higbee found all this out. This is beyond belief, because I got to tell you, the other thing is the Democrats are already talking about they're not going to, unless they leave Minnesota, they're going to shut the government down in 10 days. This is their plan, and they have some Republicans going along with it.
That's right.
You mentioned that. So now we're going to have a government shutdown over all this crap going on. If we give in here, we're done. We're done.
What they're trying, what began as Tim Walz and the Minnesota Democrats trying to avoid arrest for the Somali fraud, is growing into other things. And the Democrats are in open rebellion. They're planning a government shutdown on top of this, all to bring down the Trump administration in their mind and bring down President Trump. I mean, that's what this is all about. Stop the deportations, stop the fraud investigation in Minnesota, and try to win the midterms with this.
They're going into parking lots because they have a database, and parking lots of hotels, and they're destroying cars thinking that they're government ICE cars rented. It's gotten out of control. You got downtown Minnesota, by the way, where they say there's now that ICE is not there, there's peacefulness. They've taken over that whole section of downtown. They've got it disgusting. They're starting to break it. They broke into a hotel yesterday thinking ICE was in there because they got that underground garbage going on. I mean, in Florida, if you track somebody, if you put a tracking device or anything on a car and you track them, it's a felony.
Big time.
Here they're tracking
big time felony.
Everybody.
Big time felony.
Everybody is being tracked in Minnesota. This is not normal, folks.
And they're stalking, which is a crime. They're doing all kinds. They're interfering with police. There's all kinds of crime.
Listen.
Yeah.
A guy was sitting in his car. He got tracked. He had nothing to do with ICE. They reached in. They started punching him. He got out of the car. Two guys jumped him. He jumped back in the car.
I think I've seen that one. I've seen a couple of instances like that. I think I've seen that one. Yeah. Anybody that's got a black SUV, they're assuming white, they're assuming you're ICE.
Yeah, and if you rent a car, you're ICE.
Exactly.
They're stopping regular people in the street.
And by the way, stopping people in the street is illegal. They're acting as vigilante police.
100%. This guy was out in the street like a street cop. He had no business doing that. Not for nothing. This is not a normal city. This is not a normal state. You got a lieutenant governor involved in this underground. That's the same thing they got Pete Headset on.
Yeah.
It's a communication network.
Chat.
What is that all about? Where they're so organized? You know, when the regular police, you can have a scanner and you can hear what's going on. These people are doing it secretly. They're saying, hey, and they have training manuals.
That's
they
right.
have training manuals, what to look for. What is this? What is this, Brian? Said it was something, a three-letter word.
It's several things. At this point, it's a deep state operation. That's where in the deep state, it could be CIA, it could be CCP. Who knows? But it's a deep state It's an intelligence operation. This is an operation. This is an operation trying to overthrow the government. This is an insurrection.
Exactly. And they're gonna shut the government down to give in to this insurrection.
Yes, as part of the insurrection. And I don't know. I don't think I'm alone in this. If you were watching Fox yesterday, their coverage was bizarre. They were very pro the Walz anti-ICE side yesterday on Fox News. Bartiromo, Ducey.
They're planning on shutting this government down and blaming Trump.
Yes.
And this is all, and these people that when you got to understand, when they pull up in the middle of a riot with a truck full of gas masks that are very expensive. I haven't priced a gas mask. Does the average person walk around with a gas mask?
And how does the average person get so many? It'd be impossible. How do you get truckloads of gas masks?
Water bottle, all the water you want. I must go to Costco. All the water you want. Pizzas delivered from Pizza Hut. It's out of control.
Water and pizza is easy, but getting this many gas masks is not easy.
And they're calling to shoot ICE, violence.
Yeah, that's also illegal. That's federal crimes.
If I'm an ICE officer and if I got my back to somebody in this mob, what do you think an ICE officer is going through here?
Exactly.
I mean, he's not the boogeyman, folks. He's getting people out of this country that don't belong here. A lot of them are pedophiles. And believe me, this lieutenant governor and Tim Walz, I don't know what they're waiting for. Pam Bondi, get off your rump. I mean, this is ridiculous.
Pam Bondi is useless. That Fox News interview she did on Saturday, I just sent a strongly worded letter to Tim Walz. She should have been fired just for that stupid comment about the strongly worded letter she sent.
Strong words.
To hell.
Well, what about this lieutenant governor that they've got her involved now?
She was the one, if you remember, she's running for Senate, and she was in the Muslim clothing a couple weeks ago with the Somalis. Remember that in a video?
Yeah, and they're all involved. This is one big scam on America. Mm-hmm. This is a crime.
All right, well, listen, we're about a minute away until the radio show, so I got to run. But all right, Richie, take care. If you're on hold, stand by. The radio show is going to begin in about a minute, so I'll have to do a reintroduction. If you're new, I host a morning radio show that's on a whole bunch of radio stations, AM and FM, and this is the pre-show. I live stream here on YouTube while I'm on the radio. If you're on hold, stand by. I've got to open the radio show, and then I will go to the calls. But I want to remind you of a couple things with the calls today. No profanity, and be responsible with what you say. No matter which side you're on, be responsible. And I will not be giving warnings. If you're not responsible, you're gone. Okay? And I don't think that's a big ask. This is a big news story. Tensions are high, and we're going to be responsible, and you are too. Okay? If you want to call in, the number is toll-free, and it's pinned in the live chat, 888-465-2631, 888-465-2631. We're 10 seconds away. If you're on hold, don't go anywhere. After I open, I'll go to the phones. All right, 5 seconds. Welcome to the program, everyone. My name is Brian Craig, and you are listening to Florida's longest running radio show, The Steve Kane Show, on the radio since 1977, celebrating 49 years on the radio on this Monday morning. Welcome, everyone. And, of course, we're going to talk about the main topic of the day, which is this shooting that took place of this anti-ICE guy over the weekend in Minneapolis, Minnesota. And your calls are welcome on this. And I'm going to share my thoughts. We'll go to the phones. There are already people on hold. If you're on hold, stand by. If you'd like to call in, the number is toll-free, 888-465-2631. Fox News and other media outlets have uncovered a signal chat that the anti-ICE protesters are using to communicate before and during and after this event over the weekend. And, you know, what's this Minneapolis, Minnesota rebellion that's going on is not organic. And we're in a new phase of it right now. The way this began, what originally, and it's morphed into something different now, what's going on in Minnesota. But 3 weeks ago, Nick Shirley did that incredible reporting on the Somali pirate fraud operation. And of course, the Somali pirates are just the front men. This is done by the Democrats in Minnesota, the largest financial scandal in history. Out of fear of the federal investigation leading to the arrest of senior Democrats, which would include the governor and others in that state, they knew about it. Tim Walz and the Minnesota Democrats started these fake paid protests to try to run the feds out of Minnesota. And that, led to the incident with Renee Good a couple weeks ago. And, one thing you have to understand, they're not all paid protesters. They're not all fake protesters. Some of them are. But when you bring in the paid and fake protesters, real protesters will show up, okay? You got to understand that. So they're not all fake. They're not all paid. Some of them are liberal lunatics that are doing these things. Pretti, over the weekend, this guy, everything he did led up to his death. He is 100% responsible, Pretti, for his own death. Okay? He not only brought a gun to an anti-law enforcement protest, he brought a loaded gun and 2 extra magazines. A 9mm with 2 extra magazines. Depending on the size of the mags, he had a minimum of 30 rounds of ammo. A minimum of 30 rounds. Maybe 50 plus, but a minimum of 30. Also, he had a red dot laser scope on the handgun. Like Arnold Schwarzenegger in the original Terminator. Right there, with who he was with and the weapon he had and the extra ammo, to me, if I were a regular police officer, and I stopped that guy there and found that, I'll tell you what I would think, and I think you would think the same. That this guy is planning a mass shooting event. Wouldn't you? Why so much ammo? I have been a gun owner my entire life. Since I was 12 years old, I've had guns. This is an important point, okay? Very important point. And over the weekend on my podcast and on YouTube, I talked about this a lot. In Florida, we have open carry now. That's new. We've had concealed carry forever. Every Florida man I have known my entire life, including myself, has concealed carried at least once. Some do it all the time. And I've known people from the time I was a little kid who didn't go anywhere unless they were armed. Out of everyone I've known in my entire life who's carried a concealed weapon, none of them, when they were concealing, carried extra magazines and extra rounds of ammo. I've never known anyone to do that. Now, I understand, there are exceptions to every rule and someone may, but I have never known anyone, and police officers don't count, or retired police don't count. That's a different thing. I've never known any concealed weapon permit holder to bring extra magazines that are loaded. Never. Never, never, never. The only time I ever have had my weapon out of the house with extra ammo is when I'm going to the gun range. And that's typical with people. Now, I've been taking calls on my YouTube live stream and podcast over the weekend. And now, every liberal's a gun owner. They carry all kinds of ammo with them everywhere they go. They're a bunch of liars. Okay? So you're going to hear from a lot of people that call me on the phone that say, I'm a gun owner and I carry extra ammo. BS, BS, BS. With a rare exception. People don't carry extra ammo. Not only that, when you are concealing, when you are, and you got to understand that Minnesota is a very liberal state. They have strict gun controls. You got to have a permit to have a concealed weapon. And the rules for a concealed weapon are... I have been waiting for open carry my whole adult life here in Florida. We finally got it. It's great. Open carry is amazing. Because it's very difficult to conceal carry. I'm wearing a t-shirt right now. Now we have open carry, with concealed carry permit laws, if I've got a gun holstered on my belt and I have my t-shirt over it, a layman would think, oh, it's covered up, it's concealed. No. If the outline of that gun can be seen through your clothing, you are no longer concealed. You're in violation of the law. Now, how that's enforced depends on the cop, but you're in violation of the law. That's how concealed weapon... That's why I never liked it. So, so people that conceal their weapons, you don't go around with laser dot scopes on the weapon. How do you properly holster and conceal a weapon of that shape and of that size? Come on. By the way, he didn't have any identification, which you're required to have when you're carrying a weapon. And he committed another felony, which was obstruction of justice with federal agents. So if he was illegally in the possession of a gun, he was committing local and federal firearm laws right then and there because he didn't have any ID and he had the gun with him. And he was obstructing federal officers. So he was committing multiple felonies before things escalated. But why did he have the gun and so much ammunition with that red dot scope on it? Everything about him looks like a mass shooter, does it not? And exactly. And that red dot, after Charlie Kirk and Butler, he was planning something probably. And if he was a mass shooter, who were his victims going to be? ICE agents. We're going to take our first break of this Monday. If you're on hold standby, after the break, we will go to the calls. And I'm going to tell you that when you call me, be responsible. I don't care what obviously no profanity, but what I mean is there's an insurrection going on in the Confederate state of Minnesota. Things are pretty hot right now in the news and in the country. And I am giving you this warning. I will not give you warnings during the call. You have to be responsible with your language when you call in. Okay? Be responsible, not just no profanity. Be responsible and respectful with the way you speak. All right? Our number is toll-free, 888-465-2631. It is tax season. I know you guys are getting your 1099s, your whatevers you get. You're getting all your tax documents. You want to make sure that you get all the deductions you're allowed to under the new tax code. The entire tax code has changed with the big, beautiful bill. And you want to make sure that you get the largest return possible. And that's where Jamie Levac of Swift Tax comes in. You've heard me talk to him many times in the last few weeks on the program. He is very good. I was so impressed with him at our very first meeting when I first met with him. He knows the tax code, the new tax code with the big, beautiful bill inside and out. If you already have an accountant, still call Jamie LeeZep at Swift Tax. Have him review your taxes. He is very, very good. You're going to get the largest return possible and all the deductions you're allowed to under the law. Jamie LeeZep from Swift Tax can help you no matter where you're located in the United States with your taxes. And not just your federal taxes, your state taxes, your business taxes, your everything. Give Jamie LeeZep at Swift Tax a call or text. This number rings directly to him, 954-773-1587. 954-773-1587. That's 954-773-1587. We'll be right back. By the way, both of those businesses, the book and Divine Escapes, the link is in the description of the video. Both of those are very big supporters of my podcast and channel, so please click those links and buy the book and look at that. Buy some of that great artwork from Divine Escapes. We're a little more than a minute until we return. There's 2 openings on the board if you'd like to call in. 888-465-2631. 888-465-2631. We're a minute until coming back. I am going to go to the phones when we get back on the radio, which is in less than a minute. But, you know, as I've been saying, everything that Pretti did was wrong. And he put together a situation with actions and reactions that led to him losing his life. It's sad. I'm like President Trump. I don't want to see anyone lose their life. But people do stupid things and get themselves in situations that sometimes sadly cost them their life. And that's what Pretti did. And he very well may have been there for no good with all that ammo. Give me a break. All right, we got about 15 seconds. Stand by. Welcome back. I'm Brian. It's the Steve Kane Show. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hey, I'm Chris calling from California.
Chris in California. What's on your mind?
Just had a few questions for you, right? So to begin with.
Well, first,
So to
no,
begin with,
hold on a
what
second.
can you?
Pick your best question and start with that.
Okay, best question.
Yeah, pick your best question and ask.
Okay, you want to talk about the Second Amendment, gun rights, correct? You mentioned you don't know anybody who carries multiple magazines, right? If you know so much about weapons, what's the optic that was on that weapon? Can you name it correctly?
I know about the weapons I own. Okay, I don't know,
So you don't know
excuse me,
weapons and you're uneducated,
no,
right?
I don't. I know about the weapons I own. Okay, I am not.
Are you a veteran?
I'm not an expert on all weapons.
Are you a veteran?
What does that know?
I'm asking that because as a veteran, I served for people's right to conceal carry, and you stating what you stated shows you to be a hypocrite. And if you can't accept that, you're simply a liar.
Excuse me. When you conceal carry, okay, one, no matter where you are required under the law to carry identification with you. He had no ID. That's one.
They never asked for it.
No,
he was pepper sprayed.
Excuse
the
me.
moment
Slow down. I'm not done. I am not done. I am not done. I am not done.
You are denying the facts yourself.
If you don't stop interrupting,
Sir, you're wearing a Trump 20.
Okay, I'm not gonna allow you to interrupt. I am very open to having conversation with liberal lunatics, and if you were listening to me over the weekend on my YouTube channel, where I take live calls like I do here in the mornings, every liberal is a gun owner. They conceal carry, and they carry lots of ammunition with them all the time. Every single liberal I talk to Saturday and Sunday after this incident. But I don't mind talking to liberals, but only one person can speak at a time, and my speaking trumps your speaking because I'm the host of the show. You have to be respectful, not interrupt, and have a conversation. Okay? Let's go. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
This is Mike from Louisiana.
Hey, Mike.
You know, Brian, you're right. This is the only place where this stuff is happening is in Minnesota. By and large, this policy that the president has enacted, it is working. I mean, the only other thing I can say is, I don't want to call it a minor thing, is remember what happened in Chicago when that watch commander gave the order for the Chicago police to stand down from this one particular
exactly.
area.
The superintendent, the one responsible guy that runs a police department. Thanks for the call, Mike. Let's go. All right, you're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from? You're on the air. Once, twice. All right. Oh, you missed your chance. I already hit the button. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Good morning, Brian. Doc from Texas.
Hey, Doc.
Hey, man. How are you this morning?
I'm well.
Okay, that's good. Hey, look, what I'm calling you about this morning is...
Well, I hope you're calling about the incident in Minneapolis, because that's the topic.
That's what I'm calling you about.
All right.
That's what I'm calling. Okay, here's the deal with that. You're never going to admit, and your MAGA people never going to admit they killed that man. So I don't know what's even the conversation this morning.
Of course, the Border Patrol agent shot him. No one's denying that. What are you talking about?
They killed that man, right?
Yes.
They killed that man.
Yes.
They took his gun from him and they shot an unarmed man. And you can say anything you want to.
You're so out of your mind. If you look at the slow down video, okay, there was a tussle and some confusion. One of the officers did say that they did get his weapon, no doubt about it. Are you with me, Doc?
Yeah, I hear you.
Okay. But then he reached, this is Pretti, he reached again for his holster, and he grabbed something. Now, what it was exactly, we don't know. Are you there, Doc, or did I lose you?
Yeah,
okay.
I'm here.
He reached for his holster. This is when he was down, if you look at the pictures. He got something in his hand. We don't really know what it was. Some are speculating it was a magazine. He never stopped resisting until he couldn't anymore.
Brian, you can, like, again, Brian, I'm looking at the same video you're looking at. They shot that man. That man.
Yes,
both his
they
hands
did
was on
shoot
the
him. No
ground.
one's denying that they shot him.
Brian, both his hands were on the ground, Brian. And
No,
like I said, I'm not going
he
to argue with you.
He took his right hand, reached for towards his holster, and grabbed something that he had in his hand.
Again, they shot to kill this man.
No kidding. I know. We know that they shot him. Oh, my goodness. Isn't it amazing how all of a sudden these liberals are all Second Amendment advocates? You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Good morning, Brian. Troy, West Palm.
Hey, Troy.
Hey, I'm just curious on when these officers that are shooting people are going to get promotions in daycare centers like the Ashley Babbitt shooter officer.
Well, okay. Yeah. Yeah, and Ashley Babbitt was 100% unarmed.
Yeah. Yep, she didn't even have a gun. She got shot and killed, and that guy got promoted.
Mm-hmm.
So if that happened with these people, maybe these protesters would stop. This is just straight out insurrection.
Yes.
I mean, the two-tiered system is on full display right now. It's crazy.
Yeah, there's no doubt. I mean, there's no question what's going on here. It is a 100% insurrection against the federal government. It's the Confederate state of Minnesota.
And you got a lot of crazy callers calling you. They're just idiots.
Well, do you notice how every liberal that calls in, they're all of a sudden they're gun owners, they conceal carry, and they carry extra ammunition wherever they conceal carry. People don't carry extra magazines. That is so rare. Very few people would do that.
Yeah.
It's hard to conceal when you've got that red dot laser scope on the weapon and you got extra mags. How do you conceal with all that?
Yeah, I conceal carry, but I don't carry extra. I mean,
nobody does.
If I can't get out of it with what I got, I'm running.
If you have to stop and reload, you're done.
Yeah.
And everybody knows that. Yeah. You bring extra ammo if you need it for something.
Yeah, I don't understand what some of these people are thinking. I mean, if these officers that are, I feel bad and I don't like to see what's happening.
No.
But literally, if they got promoted for shooting people, maybe these people would stop doing what they're doing.
All right, West Palm. All right, well, welcome to the program, and we'll talk again sometime. If you're on hold, stand by. You know, Valentine's Day will be here before you know it. You know where the best place to shop for Valentine's Day is? You know where it is? MyPillow.com. That's right. The next governor of Minnesota, Mike Lindell's MyPillow.com. Use our promo code Kane at checkout for huge savings. And there's great products at MyPillow.com for Valentine's Day. The slippers, the sheets, the blankets, the pillows, whatever you get. You know, the thing about the MyPillow products, everything is high quality. The very first MyPillow I have is over a decade old, and I can't tell it from the other ones. Okay? I mean, you can't, because everything Mike Lindell makes is high quality and lasts. That's why his pillows come with a 10-year warranty. Never heard of a pillow having a warranty, and one that's a decade long is crazy. That patented fill inside the pillow, what it does, when you lay your head down, it stops you from tossing and turning at night. You know, you may not realize it, but every time you toss and turn, you're waking yourself up, even if you don't remember it. And what it is, it's like having sleep apnea. With the MyPillow, you get a well-rested sleep each and every night. You can use our promo code Kane at checkout, Kane, on all the specials at MyPillow.com. You can also order by phone, toll-free, 1-800-716-4879. 1-800-716-4879. Promo code Kane, Kane. We'll be right back. All right, guys, we're clear. Now, you know, Mike Lindell at MyPillow, he sponsors that early pre-show I do and my afternoon show and podcast. So please go to MyPillow.com, use our promo code Kane, do your Valentine's Day shopping, all right? I would greatly appreciate it. If you're on hold, stand by, and we'll go to the phones when we get back from the break. Stand by if you're on hold. Oh boy, it's one of those issues. The liberals, the thing with liberals, it's hard to have a conversation because they just lie, right? They just lie. Yeah, I'm a coward who takes live screenless calls. Yeah, exactly. This is the only channel on YouTube where you can call live the person on. All right, we have less than a minute, and we will be back. All right. About 30 seconds and we'll be back. Oh boy, oh boy. 20 seconds. Show's flying by. We're over an hour into the show already. Here we go. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from? You're on the air.
Oh, is this me right?
It sounds like you.
Me right now?
It sounds like you.
I'm calling from America.
America. What does that mean? Like North
Yeah.
America, South America, Latin America, the United States of America?
Like the United States of America, the one y'all are forgetting.
Oh, okay. Yeah, a penny for your thoughts? I mean, what are you waiting for?
No, I'm just watching this faggot in front of me.
Okay, there we go. There we go. First one. Oh, boy. I don't know why. First dump of the week. If you're on hold, stand by while we wait for the delay to re-engage. I don't know why a liberal would use a gay slur to insult someone. Why is being gay something to insult someone with, you tolerant liberals? You know, this ICE shooting will probably not, or Border Patrol shooting will probably not be the last. You know, they're really amping things up on the left. They are sacrificing their own people for this cause. And the cause is stop the investigation into the fraud in Minnesota and stop the deportations. That's what this is all about. And try to bring down Trump. And try to use this as a midterm election issue to defeat the Republicans in the midterm elections. But this is not a popular thing they're doing nationwide. That's why these protests have not broken out in other cities around the country. They've been exclusive in Minnesota, primarily Minneapolis. The majority of the American people are on the side of ICE and President Trump when it comes to the deportations. You know, this country not only has been invaded, it's been colonized. I watched Tim Walz yesterday stirring up insurrection at his press conference. The things he was saying, he should have been arrested for what he was saying. I mean, he's inciting more violence. He's referring to the illegals as our citizens. These are not our citizens. They are illegals that are in the country illegally. And they have warrants for their arrest, either for major felonies they've committed or not showing up to their immigration court dates. These are not our citizens. Tim Walz is probably since color television has been in American living rooms, okay? The Democrats during the segregation era had some crazy governors, right? But since color television has been in everyone's living room in the United States, this is the most psychotic governor or public official this country has ever had. He is nuts. He doesn't care. He has no empathy. And he's setting up a situation where people are getting killed. Now 2 people have lost their lives. so that he can avoid facing justice for this Minnesota Somali pirate operation that the Minnesota Democrats have running. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from? Oh, hold on. Let me answer. All our lines are ringing.
Dave from Pennsylvania.
All right, Dave in Pennsylvania. What's on your mind?
Okay, I just called. I just heard that last caller from California arguing with you about the guns with the ID and stuff. I got a kick out of it because he says, "Oh, they didn't ask for ID." I'm like, "How do you know? You weren't there." It makes me laugh.
Yeah.
I hear these callers like that.
Yeah.
But I just called in to make my comment about that, and I like your caller Richie. I'm 100% with him when he calls in. I like listening to his comments.
Okay.
But you have a good day, Brian.
All right,
Thank
take care. Take care. I like a caller that knows when they're out of material. They got one thing to say and they know it. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hi, I'm Todd. I'm calling from California.
All right, Todd.
Hey, what's going on? So, hey, I agree with you in principle. However, I voted for Trump 3 times, right?
Of course, yes.
I believe the election was stolen in 2020, right?
We'll get to what's
But
relevant on the
same
table
time-
today.
Pardon?
Get to the incident over the weekend.
Right.
I don't need a "this is your life."
So, yeah. All right. So, yes, we can appreciate that you shouldn't show up to a law enforcement activity with a loaded gun, right? But at the same time, you got 6 guys around you. They disarm you.
Yeah.
Like,
you guys, I got to tell you, you guys in California are so full of it. Everybody that calls me, excuse me.
You gotta
Excuse me, I'm speaking. I am speaking.
People.
I'm on the coast.
Well,
I'm on the Florida
speaking,
coast.
Yeah, that's nice, but you're speaking inappropriately about everyone in California.
Well, I just find it. Excuse me. I just find it
way.
interesting that every guy that has called me since Saturday from California voted for. All of you say the same thing. You voted for Trump 3 times. You're gun owners. You carry guns. You support Trump. But this is just too far. You're all a bunch of damn liars.
No, I'm not saying it's too far. I'm just saying that
He didn't just bring a gun. He didn't just bring a gun to an anti-police protest. Excuse me.
Right.
Yeah, you can throw in all the MAGA phrasing you want. You're still a California liberal.
I said FAFO.
Okay, I know. I know what you said.
I don't want to cut.
I know. You want to tell yourself. You want to call yourself a deplorable too. Get off the phone. Fake MAGA. Fake MAGA. Every guy from California, I voted for Trump 3 times. I'm a deplorable. I'm a gun owner. But they've gone too far. They went too far ice this time. Who do you think you're talking to? Okay? Who do you think you're talking to? It's not just that he brought a gun to a political anti-police protest. He was obstructing justice. The police officers were involved with speaking with a woman that was part of the protesters. He got involved physically. He got into a physical struggle with the police officer trying to prevent them from getting to their suspect while he's armed, without ID, with extra ammunition, and the red dot laser scope on his weapon. This is not the same thing. But didn't I tell you guys? Every liberal caller that I've had since Saturday, they voted for Trump 3 times. They carry. They got lots of ammunition. They support Trump. They throw out some MAGA phrase here and there, and then all of a sudden, ICE Border Patrol, they've gone too far here. This is, we got to get out of here. We can't do that. Give me a break. It's amazing how many MAGA people there are in California. Boy. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hi, Brian. It's Sandra from Boca. How are you?
All right, Sandra. These fake MAGA people that are calling me. It's like every other call.
Yeah. I was thinking about that other guy that just called, like the one that said, they shot that man. They shot that man.
No kidding.
I've never been shot at. I don't think you've ever been shot at. But these people are trained to understand that they're dead in a millisecond. A millisecond. These people don't understand that. Doc doesn't understand. What is his name? Doc?
Doc
don't
from
understand
Texas.
that.
Yeah, DOC. Doc from
Yes,
Texas.
it takes a millisecond to be shot and you're dead.
Mm-hmm.
You're dead. So what level are we at where you can say, they shot that man? Okay. Well, the guy had a pistol on him. What more do you want to see happen, I would say to people like him.
And he never stopped resisting until he took his last breath, and he even reached back. In the slow down footage, he even reached for his gun belt, his holster, and he grabbed something that he had in his hand. So, I mean, come on.
I tell you what it is. They would, and I'm sorry that I have to put it this way. Looks like they would have seen the other side dead better than.
Well,
you understand what I'm saying?
This guy had all this stuff for some reason. Either he was a mass shooter, that hadn't done it yet, or he was looking to cause and martyr himself. He may have martyred himself, There's that possibility too.
Yeah, well, it seems that way to me, because if you're going to struggle until the last minute and not give up, and then you want to die. That's the way I look at it.
Yeah.
I mean, don't tell me that he didn't see the Renee Good footage.
Of course.
So what was he trying to do? And I heard he had many magazines on him. Is that true?
He had two extra magazines. So he had a minimum, because we don't know how big the magazines were. We had a minimum of 30 rounds of ammo. No less than 30 rounds of ammo.
Okay.
Why did and with this red dot laser pointer scope on the pistol? And no ID.
Yeah. So looking to do major damage, probably.
I don't know anybody that carries extra ammo when they're concealed carrying. And I'll tell you another thing. I've never known any concealed weapon permit holders personally, and I know a lot, that interfere with law enforcement when they're with a suspect, like these guys were with the lady on the street.
Yes, and usually most people conceal and carry are peaceful, by the way.
I'm sorry.
I know a lot of people in my life that conceal and carry, and they're just there for the purpose of what it's supposed to be. If you get my drift.
Yeah, I'm very sorry this guy lost his life, but everything he did caused this incident.
Yeah.
Everything.
Yeah. And they were probably shouting commands at him: "Stop! Stop! Stop! Stop!" What more does it take? Okay, so we got to start to see our law enforcement dead. It takes a millisecond to get shot and bleed out on a sidewalk. What is it they looking for?
Yeah, exactly. All right, I appreciate the call. You make some very good points. You really do. Sloman's Home Security is offering a free home security system with free professional installation and 24/7 central station monitoring. You get all that for just $24.95 a month for 5 years. Wow, what a great deal that is. All you have to do is call 833-283-5050. 833-283-5050. That's right, it's a free home security system and professional installation, absolutely free. Your Sloman's home security system includes a touchscreen keypad, 3 door window sensors, a motion detector, notifications, and remote keypad access so you can check in from anywhere. So no matter where you're located, call and take advantage of this deal. 833-283-5050. 833-283-5050. We'll be right back. Okay. All right, we're back. I'm Brian. It's the Steve Kane Show. We're going to go back to the phones. Oh, boy. I mean, this is really a tragedy. I'm so sorry this guy lost his life, and Renee Good, too. You have got this sick, twisted Governor Walz, who's, I'm telling you, this guy for the last 3 weeks is sleeping fully dressed at night because he's afraid that the feds are going to arrest him at any time, whether it's for his insurrection or the Somali private fraud going on with the Leering centers and such in Minnesota. And he is egging everything on. He's egging everything on just to avoid that. And 2 people have lost their lives because of him, not because of ICE. 2 people have lost their lives because of Walz, not because of Trump. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Shelley Babes, North Carolina.
North Carolina, you're on. What's on your mind?
I was wondering, Brian, what you thought about like the Trump administration. Maybe they should allocate funds or resources to place the families or people that are like basically being held hostage in that state, like to get them temporary placement.
I don't understand. You mean evacuate Minnesota? No, okay, no, that's crazy talk. What we really need is the Insurrection Act. Governor Walz should be removed. The federal government needs to take control of Minnesota. They are in open rebellion against the federal government. This is what an insurrection looks like. You know, and his press conference after the event and the one that he had yesterday, Tim Walz, I mean, I couldn't believe what I was hearing. This is how the Democrats were talking when Lincoln won in 1860 before the Civil War. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Good morning, Conservative Doug.
Hey, Doug.
You know, this to me, this all seems like all due because of what the police have been allowing for years for people to throw water on them, abuse police, not listen to police. So everybody has this feeling now that I can do whatever I want. They're not going to do anything. They're not going to shoot me. What are they going to do? Lock me up maybe, and I'll be out in 5 minutes. So this is a terrible idea that they've had to allow people to be abusive to police and authority. So, I'm sorry this guy lost his life, but this guy was in there thinking he was never going to get shot, I'm sure. He was looking to be a martyr. Maybe he was, but I doubt it.
And,
nobody
they're
really wants to die,
and if you notice, both of these instances are white people, right? Renee Good and this guy, I can't remember. I think it might have been The View, might have been MSNBC. One of the by the way, Doug, thanks for the call. One of the liberal shows, I played this clip early last week, or was it the week before? I can't remember. And it was Joy Reid after the Renee Good. I played this that Renee Good thought her white privilege would save her. Some of these people are true psychotic left-wing activists in their thinking. Okay, they're revolutionaries in their mind. And the reason this is happening with white people is they're so brainwashed into their virtue signaling that they think that the fact that they're white, that they can get away with more than somebody who's not white, even though most of the ICE and Border Patrol agents are Hispanic. All right, let's go. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hi, it's Jessica. How you doing, Brian?
All right, Jessica.
The Insurrection Act. I wonder why Mr. President Trump hasn't enacted it yet. I mean, it's been more than 2-3 months that Governor Walz has been inciting violence in that state. Mm-hmm. What are we waiting for? Do you know why? Is there a reason? Have you speculated with other people?
No, we don't know. We don't know. I mean, we're all at, there's a couple possibilities. One, that he's not going to because he thinks it'll escalate the situation. That's a possibility. Or there's another possibility that they're mobilizing for it, and we'll find out when he does it right before. You know, maybe he doesn't want to announce that they're coming. We don't know. It's all, that would all be speculation.
How far, does Governor Walz need to go? It's including the mayor. If you see what's happening, it is only happening there. It's not happening in Texas. It's not happening in California. It's not happening in Chicago. It's not happening in Florida. ICE is doing its work everywhere else. And all of those insurrection and violence is not happening anywhere else. It's just there.
That's right.
I'm assuming that, these agitators are being paid a lot of money in Minnesota. And, all these people, especially that guy, you can tell that he was completely brainwashed by the Democratic Party.
He was the Pretti that was shot on Saturday. If you watch the video right before he started obstructing justice and interfering with that, he was directing traffic like he was a cop. He's got a gun, he's got ammo, and he's out there directing traffic in the middle of the street around the ICE officers. Very strange.
Yes, I saw that. I saw that video, and I also started thinking right away, what is he doing there with so much weapons? Why? What was his main purpose?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I believe
what was his main purpose?
I believe he was a mass shooter, and he was planning on shooting up ICE officers. Why else would you have so much ammunition?
That could be a possibility, and maybe we're not going to find out. But if you are a gun owner, or if you're someone that uses logic, it leads you to that. It leads you to that he was a mass shooter. He was planning to shoot all these ICE agents. But my point is that that's only happening in Minnesota. It's not happening anywhere else. It's not happening in any other state. So it makes you think, why are these people doing that in Minnesota? Because the governor is doing it.
It began because Tim Walz was afraid of getting arrested for the Somali fraud. That's how this started.
Absolutely.
And now
it's so sad it's sad to hear Americans say, well, ICE has gone too far. ICE has not gone too far. We are under attack. Our democracy, our country, and the republic is under attack by Democratic Party who wants to overtake the United States and make it a communist country. That's what's happening here.
Exactly.
And you know why they're doing that? They're doing that because the more immigrants come in, the more illegal immigrants come to the United States, the more people they can count towards the census and make their state with more electoral votes and more congressmen
That's part
and
of it.
women.
There's several things in play. There's an incredible story on Fox News. In fact, this may be the best reporting I've ever seen from Fox News ever. I don't mean that as a jab. They have an incredible story about what happened in Minneapolis. Okay, they uncovered, Fox News somehow got access through their investigative reporting to the signal chat that the anti-ICE protesters are using. And to me, it sounds like a deep state operation. What began as some paid protesters with Tim Walz and the Minnesota Democrats has morphed into something different. And it looks like a deep state operation in an attempt to overthrow the second Trump term. That's what it looks like.
Well, you know what it is also? They're doing that because they know that if the Trump administration is successful, a lot of people, a lot of Americans are happy with what he's doing. I understand that a lot of callers, they probably only watch CNN and they're only getting one side of the story. But in reality, a lot of Americans are happy with what he's doing, are happy with with the Republican Party, and they're afraid that that's going to pass to a future Vance administration.
Yeah.
And what happens if Vance becomes the president? Then Marco Rubio comes after Vance. That's 16 years of Republican, government.
Correct.
And they don't want that. And they will do the impossible to destroy and stop that. And I ask American people that are listening to the show to please wake up. This is a coup d'etat that is happening, okay? This is an anti-democracy and republic that is going on against the United States, and it's well planned. And it's not only by the deep state, it's also being handled by Iran and China, okay?
Yeah. Yeah.
It's happening.
No doubt.
It's being paid by them. It's being paid by them.
Mm-hmm.
There's a combination of a lot of things. So thank you for listening to me. And I admire what you do every single day, fighting with all these people, so many ignorance out there that we need to educate. So
all right.
I'm happy with what you're doing, Brian.
Well, I appreciate it. Well, thank you so much, and thanks for the kind words. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Oh, hi. My name is Jeremy.
I'm having a hard. You got to speak up. You're too. Turn down the volume of whatever device you're listening to me on, because we're getting some feedback.
Yeah. Can you hear me now?
I can. Yeah, I can. Go ahead. What's on your mind? What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Yeah. My name is Jake, and I'm calling from Portland. And
Jake in Portland. Okay.
Yeah, I just wanted to say that the whole conversation involving Renee Good and this pretty guy. It needs to be reframed in a different way. These are communist foot soldiers that are acting on behalf of, higher ups. And if you look at the stuff that Sam Higbee, put out, it's pretty clear that there's a very high level organization to this.
Absolutely.
And from there, the thing is that you got to look even one level higher than that, because you got to look at the money and the funding. And there are a bunch of different channels that have gone into this.
Well, there's a big story today that I've been talking about. Fox News, it's the lead story on foxnews.com about the Signal chat where the protesters are communicating, and it's very organized. This is a deep state operation, whether it's CIA or the CCP, but this is a deep state intelligence operation that's being run by people that have military experience. This coup, this is what the CIA does in other countries to overthrow the government, what's going on in Minnesota.
Well, I don't disagree with you, but also I don't necessarily agree with you that these are the people that are behind it, because the Heritage Foundation has gone into who the money people are. And you're right that there is like a higher level intelligence organizing it. Maybe we could say Soros because the Tides Foundation is involved. But the point is that the entire conversation needs to be reframed. These are people, they're not professional agitators. For the most part, probably they're just, nice people that are bored with their lives, that are looking for a little excitement. They get caught up in this, revolution, right, to bring about social change. But it's all at the behest of the communist idealism. And if you look at who's actually behind it, they have the flags there. The people that are organizing, and they have the flags. It's in your face. Anytime you see the fist, it's somehow connected to, the communist revolution. And, the guy died being a martyr for his cause. So congratulations to him. Now people will, rise up and blah, blah, blah. But, the flip side to this is, and the other thing that people aren't necessarily talking about is just that, for all the ICE guys that are trying to do their jobs, agree, disagree, you got to imagine that according to, you said Fox News, but Cam Higbee was the guy that came out with it. According to him, there's 50 to 100 people that are following these guys around. Can you imagine that pressure? And then that's even before, the agitation starts.
Yeah.
Right?
Well,
So
listen, obviously most of the people there are regular brainwashed liberal loons. But there is a deep state operation going on by some forces, not just some rich guy with money, that's being run with deep state military-like organization and precision. And that's only a handful of the people that are there. They know how to, like in Charlottesville and others, when they put on the paid protesters and the organization, real ones show up, okay, and give you the help and numbers that they need. But nothing here is happening by accident. Listen, I'm almost out of time for the hour, but welcome to the show. Call me again, all right, from Portland. If you're on hold, stand by. We're 2 months away from our 10th annual MAGA cruise. We leave March 22nd on the Celebrity Beyond. Those of you that have already made reservations, if you have not made your excursion reservations, call Ian at Cruise and Travel Depot today. I was talking to Ian on Friday, and we were talking about, since they're filling up, can we have a waiting list? So you want to call and get locked in on the excursions. These are the best excursions we've had. I mean, they're amazing excursions. We have not yet announced the San Juan, Puerto Rico excursion. I'm just talking about the first two, and they're filling up. And if you haven't joined us, make your reservation. Call Ian. His number 561-244-5779. 561-244-5779. Back after this. In the live chat, 888-465-2631. 888-465-2631. It's a toll-free call no matter where you are listening. All right? Hold on. Okay, about 20 seconds and we'll be back. The 7 o'clock hour has begun. My name is Brian Craig. You're listening to Florida's longest running radio show, The Steve Kane Show. We're talking about what's this insurrection in Minneapolis, which is, of course, getting more and more out of control. This is Face the Nation with Margaret Brennan. She's interviewing that very strange chief of police in Minneapolis yesterday. Listen to what this joker says. Yeah, they do. What? Okay. This is the chief of police of Minneapolis, who's always up there with Fry. He says it doesn't matter if it was justified. Is that what he said? Let me rewind it. I was going to talk about the things he left out of his statement. He left out that he had no ID, that he obstructed justice, he was interfering with them in a suspect, he was illegally in possession of the gun, he was resisting officers. He left all that out, but then he said this other thing. Hold on, let me rewind it. Did I hear him right? What? Chief of police, how can it not matter whether or not the shooting was justified? So whether or not it was justified, you want to prosecute people? Blows my mind. Let me play the rest of what he says. I mean, this guy's not a cop. He's not a cop. He's a dirty cop. Oh, wow. So it doesn't matter whether it was justified or not, but this mob out there, this lynching party, they hate ICE, so we got to punish ICE and prosecute ICE because this mob wants them to be prosecuted. It doesn't matter if it was justified. So sometimes things happen. People say and do things sometimes that are so shocking, it's hard to even absorb what has happened. I've never heard someone talk, and by the way, he said he's seen all the videos. The fact that this is the chief of police for Minneapolis, the fact that he said that it doesn't matter whether it was justified or not, this shooting, tells you this, that it was justified, right? He's not saying it wasn't justified. He is telling you that it was justified with that statement, isn't he? Am I reading that wrong? And so the third one was not a U.S. citizen, wasn't illegal. And there's this other thing they talk. If you're on hold, hang in there. We'll go to the phone shortly. Our number, by the way, is 888-465-2631. Those of you that are new to the program, that are listening on the new stations that are carrying us, welcome. I just still tell you, if you haven't heard me mention it before, we take live calls. They are all 100% screenless and unvetted. We do not use a call screener. When you call in, I just put you on hold, and we don't know who's on hold until you hear me say, "You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?" So no other show does this. A lot of programs claim to take screenless, unvetted calls. We're the only one that does it. So the number's toll free, 888-465-2631. Oh yeah, this thing that they're making a big, an American citizen. They keep saying that, like there's meaning to it. The second American citizen. ICE officer shot an American citizen. Why do they keep saying that? Because they're trying to get this narrative going that Trump is a fascist Nazi and that he's doing a purge of people that he disagrees with politically. It's too much. Well, then resign, and let's put somebody in there that can handle the job, girly mon. All right. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Oh, good morning. It's Joan from Tampa Bay.
Hey, Joan.
What about the ICE officer that had his finger bit off?
Oh, yeah. Forgot about that.
Yeah. I mean, really, is that all fine and good?
Have they gotten the HIV? Have they gotten the HIV test results on that guy? I mean, that's pretty scary. It's bad enough to get your finger bit off, but you got to worry that you've gotten infected with HIV or something when these things happen.
I mean, that is totally out of control. I mean, the cannibalistic loonies or something. I don't know.
I know who does that. I mean, how much? What kind of bite force does it take to bite off a finger? And was he wearing a glove when they bit off the finger? Was it through a glove? I don't know.
I don't know.
A lot of people wearing gloves because of the blizzard. They've all this cold weather of the weekend. Most people are wearing gloves. That's why I ask.
But they don't say any big deal about that.
Yeah.
I think it's horrible. But anyway, that's all I have to say.
All right, Jim. Appreciate the call from Tampa Bay. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Yeah, Brian, I want to ask this police chief two big questions, okay? What's wrong with police chiefs in Democratic strongholds? The other thing I wanted to ask him was, what's going on? Who's in charge? There's businesses in downtown Minnesota. Who's in charge of the downtown district of Minnesota right now? Is it a no-go zone where the police are not allowed in there because you've given it into the mob? It's a city within a city now.
It's the Chaz.
The mob has the downtown.
Yeah,
this police chief is useless, and they're all the same.
Well, I couldn't believe when he said it doesn't matter whether or not the shooting was justified. Okay, that tells you that it was justified in his opinion. After watching all the videos, why would he say something like that? I mean, that's crazy.
Brian, they keep on complaining there's only 600 police. That's because they defunded the damn police there. They're so disgusting. This guy is a joke. I never did a day in law enforcement. I do a better job than this guy. Mm-hmm. Not for nothing. This guy is a puppet. He sits back there with this crazy mayor. And by the way, what you don't know, the guy said about Cam Higbee, and he gave that information to Fox. But he has all the names. It's on X. All the names involved. All of the names. So they're all running for the hills right now. Mm-hmm. This is a conspiracy against the federal government. I'm sorry, the commies.
It's the Confederate state of Minnesota. All right, Richie, take care. If you're on hold, stand by. Our number is toll-free, 888-465-2631. 888-465-2631. My name is Brian Craig. You are listening to Florida's longest-running radio show, The Steve Kane Show, on the radio since 1977, celebrating 49 years on the radio. We'll be right back. All right, we'll be back shortly, guys. Hold on. What time?
Lines are temporarily busy.
What?
Hello?
Hey, it's Brian.
Hey, man.
Okay, stand by. We got about 45 seconds. All right, so I'm just going to keep you here, so stand by.
All right.
All right, hold on. All right, we're back. I'm Brian. It's the Steve Kane Show. And on the line from Cruise and Travel Depot, we have Ian. Ian, we're less than 2 months away from our 10th annual MAGA cruise. I can't believe it.
Yeah, it comes up fast, doesn't it?
Oh, my goodness. They do. I know. You know, I was talking earlier, and then you texted me about our shore excursions, and we've only announced the first two. The third one we haven't announced yet, and you were telling me that the first two excursions are pretty much filled up at this point.
Yep. But the good thing is, can get more, starting to take a waiting list.
Yeah. Now, the two excursions, the first one is Puerto Plata in the Dominican Republic. You have put together, which I think may be one of our most memorable shore excursions we've had, where we're going to spend the day at this beautiful top resort in Puerto Plata. Can you talk? It's a hotel resort on the beach. Can you tell people about this?
Yep, it's a resort on the beach. We're going to get beach chairs. We're going to get a private, bus to get there. It's going to be a really nice day. The waters are nice. It's not a long ride from the port either.
Yeah.
So we're going to get to maximize our time there. And, especially for our out-of-area people, the experience of the crystal clear waters of the Caribbean, fantastic lunch is going to be served. It's really going to be a nice day out.
And by the way, it's not just food, but the bar is included, right?
Correct. And we're trying to top what we did in Bonaire, and it's just so difficult to do that
Bonaire was
every
pretty
year, but we're
amazing
trying.
day. And this resort in Puerto Plata in the Dominican Republic, it is a hotel resort on the beach. So you don't just have the beach, there's a pool, but we have access to all the facilities of the hotel resort while we're there. And it's open bar throughout the entire hotel resort. It's not like one bar. It's like all the bars in the resort.
And they have many pools.
Oh, really? I can't wait. This is going to be fun. So that's the first one. Now, that's only got, one or two slots left.
Correct.
Okay. Now the next one is our catamaran boat tour. We charter a boat in the British Virgin Islands. Tell us about that one.
Okay, so that's the catamaran tour is definitely our signature excursion. The one that really stands out because we do it every year, and again, we have to make it better every time, which is not so easy. But this one is going to two really amazing spots in Tortola. One is called Jost van Dyke, which is a tiny uninhabited island. That's a premier snorkeling spot, and this place called Norman Island too. And it's going to be really, really awesome.
Yeah, and you don't have to snorkel. I snorkel, but you don't have to. You can stay on the boat, and this is not just some regular boat. We've chartered a luxury boat this time around, right?
Yeah, I mean, the boat is just for us, just for our group.
Private
it's really
charter.
nice. It's going to, yep. It's going to include snacks and drinks.
Oh, that's the best part. That's the best part.
And
yeah.
You don't have to snorkel. I mean, it's a wonderful day out with, the wind in your hair. You want to jump in and swim, great. If you don't, also great.
Yeah.
But these two spots are spectacular. I was looking at pictures of them because when I've gone to Tortola in the past, I usually just drive around the island, go to the beach. This is going to be seeing it in a new way.
Yeah, and I know some of you may wait to book the excursion on the ship. If you've done that in the past, don't do that this time. They are filling up. And these are our first two excursions. We have not even announced the San Juan, Puerto Rico excursion, which is going to be spectacular. We're just finalizing the final couple things about it right now. So call Ian at Cruise and Travel Depot, and he'll help you, walk you through booking on the excursions. If you've not made a reservation, there are some cabins left, although on the ship, but not very many, right?
No, not very many. Most of the infinite verandas are gone. But, we can see what we can do. Happy to help people out who just found out they can come or something like that.
Exactly. So I'm going to give you Ian's number. Ian is our travel agent at Cruise and Travel Depot who has handled all of our MAGA cruises. He is a concierge travel agent. We're leaving on the Celebrity Beyond. So he'll help you with every aspect of your trip. And if you're coming from out of town, he'll help you with hotel and airfare too. And I'm going to give you his number. If you get his voicemail, leave your name and number. He will call you back. 561-244-5779. 561-244-5779. All right, Ian, we'll talk later in the week.
Take care.
All right, take care. All right. I know, I love those cruises. It's my vacation every year, and you're invited. The Democrats have always had problems, okay? There's never been a time when the Democrats were not a problem. They've always been quite radical. They've been involved in doing crazy things and been wrong on every position they've ever taken. And we've been covering this uprising in Minnesota for I think it's 3 weeks since Nick. Was it 3 weeks Friday? Will this be a month? This Friday with Nick Shirley's story dropping will be the beginning of it. And things are getting worse and worse in Minnesota. And you got to feel sorry for the regular people in Minnesota. There are regular people in Minneapolis who just want to, this cold weather snap that's been going through, they just want to go to work and live their life. And their state is being just turned into a civil war zone is what's happening. And I don't use that civil war term, phrase, words. I don't use that lightly. People always call everything a civil war. The Democrats are, led by Tim Walz, are instigating more and more violence each and every day, and they're not going to stop. And everyone's asking the question, when is the president going to invoke the Insurrection Act? And, and I know it's been done before, and, a lot of people talk about George H.W. Bush, Bush 1, Bush 41. In South Central, he did it. was the last time, I believe. By the time he did it, it was pretty much over. We didn't have the army really in the streets of South Central LA during the famous parts of the LA riots. And my guess is that President Trump is weighing how that would escalate tensions and violence there, and he doesn't want to do that. There's no way that President Trump, over the weekend, did not hear the press conferences of Tim Walz, the one yesterday and the one on Saturday, and wasn't just fuming with rage. I found them frightening. I couldn't believe the way he was talking, Tim Walz. So he's planning something. What it is, we don't know yet. But like the Maduro raid, we may not know until it happens. It may, these are the kind of, you don't want to tip them off. Okay, we're the Insurrection Act, we're sending the army, and on Tuesday they'll be there. I wouldn't say that the Insurrection Act is off the table. He could be weighing whether it's a good idea to do it. Would it escalate things? Because these people are nuts. But he certainly wouldn't announce it in advance if he's going to do it. It would just happen. And when they do it, it's going to be a media frenzy if it happens. And, Tim Walz, with his China connection and China love, remember, he went to Tiananmen Square and he was praising the Chinese government at Tiananmen Square, not the dissidents. And Tim Walz wants the Insurrection Act invoked. Tim Walz wants to see these protesters standing in front of military vehicles and tanks. He wants to have a redo of Tiananmen Square. And that's what he's egging on. So you also have to, if you're President Trump, you got to ask yourself, do we want to give Tim Walz what he wants? Because as organized as this is, I promise you, he's organized a response to the army coming in, Tim Walz. No doubt about it. All right, we're going to take our break for the bottom of the hour, and we'll be right back. Don't go anywhere. Sounds good.
I think you lost me.
No, you're there. We got about 50 seconds.
okay.
We'll be back. Nope.
I got you.
All right, 30 seconds. All right, the 8 o'clock hour has begun. It's the Steve Kane Show. I'm Brian. Steve's here. Did you have somewhere you wanted to go, Steve, in the 8 o'clock hour?
Well, yeah. Okay, yeah. When we get back, I'd like to talk a little bit more about how the famous White House communication system broke down in all this, which I find interesting.
Well, what do you mean by that? Because I missed that. What do you mean it broke down?
Well, I mean, usually these things are well planned. I mean, it was an emergency because of the weather. I mean, that was obviously a factor in the coverage, especially. And they got their message out right up top before the bulk of the storm hit. And when it came time for a rebuttal, we weren't there.
Well,
I mean,
at
least as a presence, we weren't there.
The president, President Trump made some comments like I told you earlier on True Social, but he hasn't, the fact that he hasn't been on television with a press conference over this, it makes me think that they've got something planned and we're not going to find out till it happens. He doesn't want to announce his plans.
Or worse than that, they don't have something planned.
No, there's no way.
And they're buying time.
Did you see Tim Walz's press conference? He did 2 of them. One yesterday. Tim Walz had a press conference. Yeah, he had one yesterday and one Saturday, and there's no way Trump didn't see those and go through the roof. It was like listening to Jefferson Davis.
But he didn't do it in public.
Well, yeah, exactly. But
that's strange. That's out of character for Trump.
Not if he's planning something. They didn't tell us about we didn't know about the Maduro raid till it happened. Right?
Well, I scarcely think this qualifies as another Maduro raid.
I don't know. I could see Tim Walz getting arrested. I could see the army pulling up in Minneapolis. Oh, yeah.
I'd like to put him under the jail.
Yeah. Do you want to take some calls?
Sure.
All right,
absolutely.
Let's go. All right, let's go. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Good morning. How you doing? This is Maria from Florida.
Hey, Maria.
Hey, how you been doing? Good. Hi, how you doing? This is Steve, right?
It's me.
Oh, okay. How y'all been doing?
Good.
Okay.
I think we've already established that. Go ahead.
Yeah. Okay. I called because this thing is going on in Minnesota and Minneapolis. Oh my God, this is so crazy. But did y'all hear about the chat?
Yeah, I was talking about this earlier. The signal chat. Yeah, Fox News.
Yeah.
Fox News has a lead story on their website this morning, and I what I was saying earlier, it is probably the best investigative journalism I've ever seen out of Fox News, and I don't mean that as like a jab. I'm not giving them a hard time. It's an amazing, detailed story. Mm-hmm. Fox News not only found out about this signal chat that the anti-ICE protesters are using in Minneapolis, they were able to get access to it. We found out that the lieutenant governor's connected to it, an aide from the Tim Walz campaign's involved in it, and even the guy who was shot on Saturday was in it, and it was how they were coordinating. And and the story, which is a very detailed story, it makes it sound like it's a CIA operation in Minneapolis.
Yeah. I mean, because I listened when I came home from church yesterday. I looked at it and I seen it around about, I'm not exactly sure, but I think it was like 1 or 2 o'clock because I had got up. And I got up to get me some water, and I always get up early in the morning like that. And I happened to see it come across my social media page.
Yeah, it's a big story.
My Facebook page.
The Signal chat.
Yeah,
Yeah,
wow,
the Signal chat. And you look at the Signal chat, and remember, Signal chat is the chat platform of the CIA.
Yeah.
So
wow,
why is Signal chat being used by these people instead of WhatsApp or something?
Yeah, that's the same thing I said, because I'm like puzzled, because I heard on, I was listening to it, and a lot of people going on, a lot of MAGA people, Trump
now, by the way,
supporters,
you and I were talking. We were talking a week or so ago. You were leaving Reverend O'Neill Dozier's church in Pompano. Did you start going to that white church?
Yeah, right down the street from me.
Yeah.
That's where I go right now.
Oh, okay, all right. How's it working out?
It's working fine. I'm in just doing the choir, and I'm in a program, so it's really going good.
Oh, good. All right, take care. Good to talk to you. Yeah, she called me a week or so ago, Steve. Reverend O'Neill Dozier, she was telling, has gone so anti-Trump, she actually left the church. She's no longer going to his church. All right, let's go. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hey, brother, my name's Sean. I'm calling from Vancouver, Washington.
All right,
I've listened to your show for the past couple months now. I just wanted to say, God bless you. God bless Donald John Trump. God bless America. We'll let you get back to it, all right? You have a great night,
all right. Sounds like a good place to end it with all those compliments. I don't even know how to respond to all of that. But no, the next beat of the story is this Signal chat. That's what everybody will be talking about today. I covered it in detail at the beginning, but let me pull this up, Steve, because I won't read through the whole story like I did earlier. I read through a big chunk of it, but I'll go through some of it. This is Fox. This is on the Fox News website. Here's the headline: the far left network that helped put Alex Pretti, that's the guy that got shot, in harm's way, then made him a martyr. And they went through this Signal. Remember the Signal app, Steve, was what got Pete Hegseth and some of the cabinet were using at the beginning of last year.
I remember that.
Yeah, and they had said that the CIA put them into, and the Pentagon got them using the Signal chat because that's how they communicate. And Fox News went through the details of how they're coordinating throughout Minneapolis, identifying the police or the ICE officers, gathering their license plates, telling people where to go and protest and resist and do all of this stuff. And you can when the Fox News story, when you read through the whole thing, it's about 3,000 words. I read the whole thing this morning. It's like a book. It's very detailed. This is too organized and detailed just to be some ER nurse and a poet like Renee Good are organizing this. There is military-like precision and organization going on. And my guess would be, Steve, is that what the Trump administration are doing are trying to find out who the leaders are behind that app right now, would be my guess. And that's why you haven't seen action. They're not going after the lower level people. They're trying to find out who's behind it. That'd be my guess. All right.
Well, we'll try to sort that out in the next hour or so. What excitement, along with the gold report coming up after our break here at the top.
We're about 30 minutes away from the gold report, and we may have hit some record highs on gold. We'll find out when Youngerman joins us. All right, let's go back to the calls. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Yeah, Jay from Jersey.
Hey, Jay.
Okay, I would like to get out what I would like to say if you're going to let me or you're going to cut me off. I know. Let me say it. Now, number two thing that you're going on with this thing that really is pissing me off. You need to shut up. Number one, you said that he didn't. Let me finish. Two things I want to say. He didn't have an ID. One, you said he didn't have an ID. Number one, Nobody was asking for an ID. There were 7 people around. They weren't asking for IDs. Number 2, you said he had a gun. He never brandished that gun. He never pulled that gun out. He never touched that gun. That man was shot without asking for an ID or seeing a gun. They already took his gun from him. So why is you stupid behind telling these people these lies? Now you answer.
What's the question?
Who do you think you are? Now we can talk?
I'm telling you, I don't like what you say.
Well, excuse me.
You're
That's the...
talking to
Hey,
you.
listen, when you're hosting a radio show, that's exactly what you don't want, right? People getting ticked off at what you're saying.
But you said that they asked for ID. Did you see
I didn't
any
say that
sort
they
of
asked for
situation
ID. I
where
didn't
they
say
were-
that. I didn't
Yes,
say that.
you did. You
When
said
they
had no
when they
ID.
had him down on the ground at the end of the incident, they were looking for ID and he didn't have any on him.
Oh, they looked for the ID on the dead man?
Yeah.
Oh, but you were arguing earlier that he walked around with no ID.
No, you just didn't have your coffee, Jay. Jay, why did he have at minimum 30 rounds of ammunition in the laser pointed
Because he's
scope?
allowed to. He has a
No, you're not.
license for-
You're not
you
allowed
have
to
a
go
license
around.
for
No,
your
excuse
gun.
me. You're not allowed to
Hey,
go.
wait a minute.
Yeah.
I'd like to hear Renee's story. So what do you think happened?
Yeah.
My name is not Renee, so stop calling me Renee.
This is Jay from Jersey.
I'm Jay from Jersey. I'm not Renee.
Renee from Jersey. Go ahead. Go ahead. Tell me what
I'm
you're
not
trying
Renee
to say.
from
What's
Jersey,
your theory?
Mr. Old Man. Old man. I'm
What's
not-
your theory?
I know that you see now. You're too senile.
Do you have a theory? Do you have a theory?
The theory is he was murdered in the street. He never touched the gun. They shot
Who murdered him?
10 times. 10
Who
times. He
murdered
needed
him?
10 bullets.
Who?
What did he need 10 bullets? Okay, listen. What did he need 10 bullets for? Why
I
did
don't
he need
know.
to be shot 10 times? Answer.
Who
You
shot
can't
him?
Answer.
This is you see, I don't know how. I don't even know how you could talk to this guy. He's saying things that aren't true.
Why can't you answer the question?
We're not here to
Why
be
did they shoot
interviewed.
him
You're
10
making
times?
you're making things up.
Why? He was shot 10 times.
So what? Tell us what you think happened that led up to him getting shot. From the moment
He doesn't have a theory.
Oh,
Now
yes, I
listen,
do.
you're gonna-
He walked over.
What's your theory?
He got shot when he was trying to help the woman up off the ground. And when he helped the woman off the ground, they sprayed him in the eyes with mace. So now he can't even see. Then they pulled him to the ground, took his gun, and shot him 10 times.
Oh, that's
Which
nasty.
part I lie about? See, y'all are too stupid to realize.
Okay, all right. Oh my goodness.
All right, thank you for your call.
Is Wheezy back?
Not quite sure why.
Oh my goodness. I just didn't feel like responding to him. Tell you the truth, I'm so why? Why even respond to him? All right, let's. Oh, I just looked at the clock. We gotta take our break. Before we break, I want to talk for a moment about the next governor of Minnesota, Mike Lindell, the inventor of the MyPillow. It's Valentine's shopping season. Go to MyPillow.com. Use our promo code Kane at checkout, Kane. There's great. You can save up to 80% off of top MyPillow products with our promo code Kane at checkout, Kane, and you will find great Valentine's Day gifts, from the pillows to the sheets to the slippers to the mattresses or the mattress toppers. I have all these products. I have bought them all using the promo code Kane, except the first one because Mike Lindell wasn't sponsoring the show then. But when you give a gift from MyPillow, it is a gift that the recipient will keep for years to come. And every time you talk to them, they're going to tell you, oh, I love that pillow. I love those slippers. I love those MyPillow towels. So go to MyPillow.com. Use our promo code Kane at checkout, Kane. You can save up to 80% off the most popular MyPillow products. You'll find great Valentine's Day gifts as well. You can also order by phone, 1-800-716-4879. 1-800-716-4879. Promo code Kane, Kane. We'll be right back. All right, I'm going to put you on hold, Steve. I'll be right back. All right, Steve, you there?
Yes, I am.
Okay, just over a minute, and we'll be back.
Okay. Make sure I'm there.
You're there. You're here now.
Okay.
Oh, my goodness. By the way, I haven't heard that he was shot 10 times. Have you heard that? That was the first time I heard 10 times.
Do what?
Jay from Jersey said that they shot him 10 times. I had not heard that before. 10 times? Anybody hear that? I haven't heard 10 times before. It's the first time I heard that.
Well, you know, Jay from Jersey knows.
Yep. All right. Hold on. We got about 30 seconds. We're back. I'm Brian. Steve's here. You know, Steve, Jay from Jersey, he said something I had not heard before. So I'm going to throw this out to the audience, our research team in the audience. He said that they shot the guy 10 times. I've not heard that before. I heard, I think it was 4, 3, but not 10. I don't know where that number came from. I've not heard that before. All right.
Well, 4 or 10, dead is dead.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, you know, listen, if you obstruct justice while police are apprehending a suspect and you start fighting with the police and putting your arms and shielding the person that they're trying to get to or talk to, you're probably going to get shot if you continue to fight with them. That's just what happens, you know. And obviously, white privilege does not factor in here. All right, because both Renee Good and this guy over the weekend, Caucasians. All right, let's go. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
My name is Marty, and I'm from the great state of Michigan.
All right, Marty in Michigan.
Hey, Marty.
Yes, you called us. What's on your mind?
I want to say first off, God bless you, Brian. God bless the person the else that's on the call.
Yep, Steve. Yeah, well,
I
thank
want
you.
to say God bless America.
Mm-hmm.
But you know, there's one issue that hasn't been addressed.
What's
and
that?
The issue is that the people that got pew-pewed failed to listen to mommy and daddy when they told them to listen to individuals when they told them to do something.
Okay, I'll agree with that. Okay, you know, like I said earlier, on Saturday afternoon, before the story really got revved up, a statement came from the parents. They were contacted by they said, we told him not to harass the ICE agents. The first thing the parents said. Now, of course, they completely walked that back, but that was their immediate reaction. So they had a conversation with him. They knew he was volatile. All right, let's go. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from? You're on the air.
I'll agree with that. Okay.
Once, twice. All right, you missed your chance. But you know,
did we miss the Golden Report?
No, we got it. We got about 25 minutes before the Golden Report. Don't worry, I won't miss that. It's only 8:20. It's only 8:21, so we got plenty of time before the Golden Report.
Okay.
You know, the shooting that happened over the weekend probably is not going to be the last one in Minneapolis. You know, if you look at all of these protests, every single one of them has been about trying to instigate a response against them, right? Pushing buttons and putting things in motion. They've had 2 people shot, and if you noticed on this one, Bartiromo yesterday on Fox was not taking the side of ICE. Either was Ducey on Fox. Comer was on television yesterday and was talking about ICE backing down and pulling ICE out of Minnesota, and some other Republicans too. So with this incident over the weekend, there's been a break with some of the Republicans with Trump on ICE. Some Republicans have taken the anti-ICE position, the Tim Walz position of pulling out of
that's really scary.
Minnesota. Yeah. And one of the law enforcement analysts on Fox yesterday was saying, well, there's other tactics ICE could be using. They need to change their tactics, and these things wouldn't happen. So when the other side sees that there's a crack in the MAGA wall, they're going to do something else because they figure, well, they're already starting to cave, is how that comes off, right? They're starting to cave now, so they're going to cause another incident to happen so that they can try to get their way. It's what they're doing. But
you see no chance that Donald, during this overnight break that we just went through, you're saying there's no chance that the administration is going to pull it together and have a coherent story?
Well, I think they've been very coherent. I disagree with you that they haven't been coherent. I mean, but they, But,
well, most of what I've been hearing boils down to let's wait till the facts are in.
No, Kristi Noem was on TV all weekend having press conferences, and so was the Border Patrol Chief Bovino. Bovino was on.
Well, I missed that.
Yeah, they both had multiple press conferences, and in each press conference they took questions. And they also made statements, and they stand by that it was a good shoot, that he had a gun, that he resisted, that he put his hands on the officer, he fought with the officers. They've all said it was a good shoot, that he instigated the thing, and their story has been consistent, and they're the front people in all of this. But because there's been a crack with some conservatives like Comer, who I've always been disappointed in Comer. He does these interviews, and he always promises us the moon, and then nothing happens, right? Oh, I have the bank account information of the Biden Cyprus bank accounts with 10 million in them. I got it. And then you never see anything, Comer and some of these others, and the left are going to say, oh, it's starting to fall apart for Trump. Some of these Republicans are saying he's got to pull ICE out. But the main thing is there's that old saying, that old phrase with the media that they're burying the lead. And if you notice, the Somali fraud operation isn't even in the news anymore going on in Minnesota. The $19 billion in theft in Minnesota. It's been totally disappeared from the news, which was the original purpose of Tim Walz calling out these paid protesters. And the media aren't even covering this story anymore. This all began after Nick Shirley's exposure with his reporting on the Leering centers. I saw James O'Keefe. Remember, James O'Keefe, Project Veritas guy. James O'Keefe was getting text. He went to Minneapolis over the weekend to cover the story, and he was showing these text messages. He was getting threats that if he didn't get out of town within an hour or two, that they were going to get him. They somehow got James O'Keefe's cell phone number and were threatening him through text. He was showing the text online. He did a video report on it. There is a well-organized machine behind this of very connected people.
It's called the guys from Minnesota.
Yeah, that's right. All right, let's take another call or two before we break because we're coming up on the bottom of the hour. All right, hold on. Let's go. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Rich from Coral Springs.
Hey, Rich.
Rich.
Hey, good morning, Steve, Ryan. Just for the callers, like that woman or man from New York or Jersey.
Jay from Jersey.
Jay from Jersey. Yeah, going out, regardless if there was excessive force or not, you don't go out blocking fire trucks. So fire trucks have a right of way. So do all these agents, the ICE agents.
Yes.
And people just need to get out of their way and let them do their job.
Yeah, and you don't put your and this guy on Saturday, he grabbed a suspect that they were interviewing on the street. He put his hand on the officers and fought them until he couldn't breathe, till the end. I mean, I feel bad that he lost his life, but come on, he put everything in motion.
I do too. Yeah, that's it. You shouldn't be there. And anyone else that goes forward and does something like this, regardless of being told by their mayor, city managers, or whatever, you need to just let them do their job and stay out of it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. All right, Coral Springs, I appreciate the call. Take care. At the very end of the show on Friday, Steve, I got a call from a guy, tail end of Friday's show, And he had gone over to Life Imaging FLA for the heart scan, and he took my advice and asked them about the cancer screening. And he had the cancer screening. He has no heart problems, but he found out he has a tumor. Isn't that crazy? One of our listeners, he had no symptoms, he had no idea, and he's got a tumor. He called me on the air Friday. A few days before that, I got a call from a lady. Her and her husband went in the Life Imaging FLA for the heart scan, and her and her husband, no symptoms. Both of them had heart conditions. Hers worse than the husband's. Neither of them had any symptoms. You know, I got a call from another guy who went in for the heart scan and found out he's got heart problem. Again, no symptoms. You know, there's a pattern. These are listeners that have called me on the air telling me about this, that no symptoms, a tumor, heart issues. That's something. And, you know, this is such a public service we're doing. And, I mean, we're saving lives with this message, the lives of our listeners that we love so much. Life Imaging FLA have locations in Broward, Palm Beach, and Dade County. From your cell phone, call pound 250 and say free heart scan. You'll be connected in seconds. That's pound 250. Just say free heart scan, and you'll be connected in seconds. You know, the free heart scan is available with just a few minimum requirements, valued at $699. Make sure that you ask about the cancer screening too, okay? Like the guy who called me on Friday who remembered to do that and found out he has a tumor that he would not have known about. Again, from your cell, call pound 250, say free heart scan. That's pound 250, say free heart scan. You'll be connected in seconds. If you're on hold, stand by. It's the Steve Kane Show. I'm Brian. Steve's here, back after this. All right, Steve, I'm going to put you on hold. Stand by. Okay, Steve, you there?
Yes, I am.
We got 1 minute. We'll be back in 1 minute.
Well, is this from today?
Stand by. I got 30 seconds. All right, we're back. I'm Brian. Steve is here. It is the Steve Kane Show. Our number, 888-465-2631. All right, back to the phones. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
This is Patrick. Today I'm calling from Plantation. How are you?
All right, Patrick in Plantation. What's
Hey,
on your mind?
Well, I just wanted to make the point. It is possible to believe once again, I'm not a law enforcement person. I'm not a gun expert. I can't tell much from these grainy cell phone videos, but it's possible to believe that ICE may have overstepped in this particular shooting, but still believe they have every right to be in Minnesota until their mission is complete. And that's why I want a full and transparent investigation of this. And I think this will actually help ICE. If they overstepped, if this was not a justified shooting in any way, and they face consequences, that'll make the case that ICE is not, above scrutiny, above the law. That, it is possible. ICE is just like the police; they can make mistakes.
I don't see how it's at all possible.
But your question assumes that they made a mistake, and that they're willing to
No, I'm just
go
saying, I'm
let
saying
another.
it's possible. I'm saying we should let the facts play out. We should let the investigation.
Yeah, but what if ICE doesn't want to let the facts? What if ICE says they want it handled by a local board?
You're not going to convince the leftists. The leftists are going to say, no matter what evidence you show them, this is an execution, this is a murder.
Correct.
You're not going to convince them, but you are going to convince the people who are teetering on the fence right now.
Well, wait a minute. We've seen this incident from multiple angles, right? Because the protesters were all filming it on their phones. The guy, if you watch, you've seen the videos.
I've seen him. He reaches for his holster.
No. Before he reached for the holster, first he's in the street directing traffic like he's a cop.
Right, I saw that.
Then ICE begins to question a lady. He goes up to them. He interferes. He grabs the lady to protect her from ICE. Then he puts his hand on one of the officers, and that's when he gets in the face of one of the officers after he grabs the lady. Then he touched the officer, and that's when they tackled him. And by the way, he did have a gun, and and even if it's true, then it may be true that
the thing is he didn't have it on him when they shot him, and that's the
excuse me, slow down.
Okay,
everything happened very fast. Okay, so one of the 7 officers may have gotten the gun before the other officer shot. However, in the slow down still video version of the scuffle, he reached for his belt for something and grabbed it during the scuffle. So he never stopped resisting. What are they supposed to assume other than it's a gun? We've all seen it. It was a good shoot.
Like I say, I'd still like a full and transparent.
There will be a full investigation by the feds.
I will. Yeah. So I will end with this. Tim Walz wants basically us to unwind the past 161 years of history since the end of the Civil War, where states can simply say, no, federal law is optional here. It doesn't apply here. Get out of our state. So that cannot happen. If Trump were to pull out of Minnesota, I know he's not going to do this. If he were to pull out of Minnesota with no conditions, like, hey, you have to cooperate with our immigration authorities going forward, then this would be probably
but use
the worst.
Some common sense. You're in Plantation. Do you go to the Broward Mall? You go to the Sawgrass Mills Mall?
Not really. I mean, I don't live here.
Well, you know them.
Working here today,
you know them. You know them all. If you were at the mall and the police are talking to a woman in front of the mall, and then you go over and grab the woman and shield her from those officers, start arguing with the officers, and then put your hand on one of the officers, what's going to happen?
Well, yeah, like I say, I mean,
I'm not talking about this. I'm talking. What's going to happen? You don't want to say.
No, I agree. You do not get in the faces of federal law.
You could very well end up shot, even if you didn't have. Even if you didn't have a gun, it would be a good shoot.
Right. Well, like I say, that's not a determination for me to make. That's a determination.
All right. If you can't give us opinions, why are we talking to you? You know, if you've noticed on today's show, you know, that what they're trying to do, and you hear with this guy here. By the way, he's not even here locally. He's listening online somewhere and did a Google search and found Plantation. He didn't know the malls or anything I was talking about. Then all of a sudden he doesn't live here. Did you know? Even if you don't have a gun in a situation like that, it's a good shoot if you go for something and grab an object at the end after everything that he did. And as much of it is a tragedy, just like with Renee Good, even if he didn't bring the gun to the scene, it would have been a good shoot because of what he did and reached and grabbed an object. All right, let's take another call. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Good morning, Steve and Brian. It's JJ from Mass.
Hey, JJ.
Hey, JJ.
Hey, Steve. You know, I always find it's just a sad day when, you know, when people die. I mean, this
Absolutely.
Back to Renee Good and this ICU nurse, which is just very strange to me because I've been around guns and knives and traps and for half in the very beginning of my life for 20, 30 years. And I've never known a nurse, quite frankly, but most of them have been women. Anyway, that being said, you know, if you were making comments earlier, Brian, about, you know, some of these protesters are paid. I think, yes, a very good amount of them. It's sort of it's like the field of dreams, except it's a field of nightmares.
Yeah.
And they, you know, and we find out now, which is not surprising, which is something I've always assumed, that you know, there's like production teams in vehicles, you know, with communications. They're sending people in, moving people around, instructing people. It's like cosplay lunatics. You know, it's basically, you know, whatever the protest theme is, you know, put up the theme, whatever it is, create the chaos, the violent disorder, act 1, 2, 3, you know, action, cut, print in the can with a tragic ending, and, you know, get your Democrat merchandise for the next election campaign. It's beyond infuriating. There's two different worlds here. I mean, we're arguing today, or we're discussing this morning on the show, basically from two different worlds. There's the cosplay world, which is where these people live.
Yeah.
And then there's the reality world. You cannot, you know, was it a good shoot? Yes. Is it something that any of us wanted to happen? Of course not. But you cannot go in.
Correct.
You can't put your hands on federal agents or cops.
Yeah.
In the cosplay world, a blackjack in Vegas for these Democrats, every hand is a 21, even if it's a 9 or a 12 or 16.
You're using a lot of phrases and you're overusing.
It's insanity, Brian. Because a lot of phrases. It's insane.
But he did not stop fighting the cops until he couldn't anymore.
Yes. Well, no, absolutely.
So,
the whole thing
my questions with this guy, I got a couple questions with this guy. One, with the ammo and that laser dot scope on the pistol, was he planning a mass shooting event because of the equipment he had? And the second one is, did he martyr himself? Did it turn out the way that he wanted it to?
Brian, I think this guy is sort of a cosplay. He's a character that, I mean, quite honestly, this guy would go hunt a grizzly bear with a 22. He had no clue. You're carrying with the laser with a scope on it. I mean, you spoke about it when concealed carrying. You don't wear a brick on the side of your leg so everybody knows you're carrying. Yes. But you don't bring it to a protest. You don't bring it and you certainly don't.
When I go to the gun stores, okay, and I see someone, like a lot of times I'll go to the gun store and there'll be a guy who just moved to Florida from New York or something, and he's buying his first gun. And they always buy the big old gun, the big old handguns, don't they? You know, they're buying, you know, I'm buying something, you know, that I could carry easily and that would fit in a pocket maybe. But they're buying, you're right. The type of weapon he had looks like a guy who doesn't know too much about guns. I will give you that.
It looks like he played, you know, I mean, he's an an ICU nurse, which leads me to believe this is an intelligent man. I mean, it takes a little bit of brains.
After that nurse in Boca last week that was wishing death on Caroline Leavitt?
She's she's smart and crazy. I mean, smart people aren't just always sane. There are evil. Smart people are also crazy. This guy, I just think that the Democrats have created a scenario where there's two different, you know, they believe it's okay. I mean, this woman, like Renee Good, you know, Greg too mentioned that, you know, he could have backed off. He could have, you know, he could have moved to the side and could have, should have, would have. That's the way back. That's like if he had a time machine. Yeah, okay. But this is real life. It happens in seconds.
And hindsight's 20/20. You know.
Yeah. Monday morning quarterback. You know, that's okay for football. But when you're bringing a gun with a lot of ammo,
right.
You're going to end up getting killed.
Well, listen, you make some good points, and I agree with them. Thanks for the call. You know, I want to talk about Coastal Weight Loss Secret. You know, Coastal Weight Loss Secret, it was a year ago today that I started Coastal Weight Loss Secret. I lost about 25 pounds in the first 3 weeks. I lost over 35 pounds total. But, you know, the reason that I went to Coastal Weight Loss Secret is because, you know, we had our cruise coming up, our 10th annual MAGA cruise. We leave on March 22nd, Steve. So get your Hawaiian shirts and swimsuit ready. But
Just renewed my passport.
yeah, exactly. But the purpose of me, I gained some weight. You know, I've got some things I like. Okay, chocolate. I love Hershey's chocolate bars. I know people like other kinds of chocolate. I like Hershey chocolate bars, and I gained some weight, and I wanted to lose the weight before the cruise. You know, we're going to the beach, we're going on these resorts, we're going. You know what I mean? And I did, and I remember Dr. Zuckerman. He said, "Well, how much weight do you want to lose, Brian?" I said, "Well, I got the cruise coming up in March." He says, "Well, how much weight do you want?" I said, 25 pounds. He says, "No problem." I said, "Come on, Doc." And then when I lost it in 3 weeks, I was like, "Holy smokes!" You know, and it's amazing. Coastal Weight Loss Secret works. Remember, I did no exercise. I ate foods I would normally eat and did not starve myself. There are no shots, no injections, no pills, and keeping the weight off has been a breeze. Give Coastal Weight Loss Secret a call right now, no matter where you're located, and schedule your no-charge consultation. 561-247-6300. 561-247-6300. And online, coastalweightloss.secret.com. All right, we'll be back with the Gold Report. All right, I'm going to put you on hold, Steve. Hold on. Hello?
Your call has been forwarded to... Your call has been forwarded...
All right, we're back. I'm Brian. Steve is here. You with us, Steve?
I am.
I was not able to get William Youngerman during the break, so and I was trying hard. I don't even know. You're gonna get the amateur gold report, which is.
I'll take it. Include platinum if you.
Well, you're asking for a lot, Steve, because I didn't know I was gonna have to do this until about 2 seconds ago, so so I don't know if I can get everything because this is the amateur.
All you can do is do your best.
Yeah, well, my best is not going to be good enough today, Steve, because I'm kind of pressed. I would much rather have William do it, but I'm looking it up as we speak. If you're on hold, stand by, and if what I'm seeing is true about gold, I know why I haven't been able to get William Youngerman on the line. Okay, but I don't want to. Gold has broken $5,000 an ounce, Steve. That's why I haven't been able to get William Youngerman. Right now, gold is at $5,059.50.
Oh, gee.
Yeah. So I mean, and I imagine William's phone is probably ringing non-stop. So
What do you have for silver and platinum?
yeah, I don't have everything queued up. I'm going to put you on hold, Steve. Let me try William one last time, because this is a big day for gold, and I want to give him one more chance. I don't usually do this live on the air, but this is like a big groundbreaking day for the metals. I got to give it another go. No, I haven't been. No, I can't get William Youngerman, Steve. I don't know what's going on. I mean, his phone's probably getting overloaded with people. Yeah, gold is at $5,059.80 right now. That just went up to $5,061. So, I mean, we are in hardcore record territory. And so you guys, you want to call William Youngerman. This can't be right on silver. Is this true that silver is over? Hold on, Steve. Let me see if this is William Youngerman. This is crazy. William Youngerman, good morning.
Good morning.
We're live on the air. I've been trying to get you, but looking at the gold and silver prices, I'm just assuming your phone is blowing up, and that's why I haven't been able to get through to you. Give us the gold and silver for this morning. We're in record territory.
Yes, indeed. Yes, Friday was a huge day as gold closed out at $4,983.10. That was up $47.50. Silver breaking right through $100 on Friday, closing up $7.03 at $103.08 the ounce. Platinum gaining $144 on Friday, closing at $27.76, and palladium was up $98 at $1,995. So far this morning, we've traded in a range on gold. The low last night, $49.82, all the way up to $5,110 so far this morning. Right now, we're at $5,070. That's up $86.90. Silver up $6.43 right now at $109.50 the ounce. The high this morning so far, $111. Platinum up $40 this morning at $2,816. We did see platinum get up overnight as high as $2,933, another $100 higher. And palladium is up $82 right now at $2,077. So we are in all new record territories.
Oh my goodness. Wow. I don't even know what to say, William Youngerman, because it seems like I was just talking to you the other day. Are we going to get the $50 silver, and we're at $109.50? Or are we going to get 4,500 gold this year, and we're, it's first month of the year, and we're over 5,000? I knew we would hit these numbers at some point in my life, but I thought it would be closer to when I was 60 years old. Well, what are you recommending right now? People calling, looking to buy gold, silver, platinum, and palladium. These numbers are amazing.
Yeah, gold and silver are still occupying most of the time. Platinum's still going up nicely, so the market has no sign of retrenching at this time. Anything's possible, but as of now, we're seeing just a push to new highs almost every day. And the forecasts for silver are all over the place, anywhere from $120 to $300 an ounce now. So it's just a matter of buying and holding. And if you do see a dip, buy into it.
Yeah.
But we appreciate the patience. We've had lines out the door here for weeks now, and we appreciate everybody's patience. We will serve you as quickly as we can. Our staff was very limited last week. We are back on a full staff this week. So we'll try to service everybody as quickly as we can, but please be patient.
Well, during these incredible numbers, what is your inventory like so far as gold and silver in stock?
Yeah, we have it all in stock. As I've said, we've maintained great positions for everybody, for our customers, and so we continue to do so, and we can still supply pretty much everybody's needs.
Now, my guess is the phones are going to be pretty busy. I mean, you can do your transactions over the phone and through the mail with William Youngerman, and you open up at 10 a.m., but I imagine your phones are going to be jam-packed today. If you can make it in person, I would recommend going in person.
Absolutely. The phones have been so wild that we just can't even pick them up fast enough. It's just so if you're calling and you're not getting an answer, don't be discouraged. you can try back or just come on in because it's going to be kind of a first come, first serve basis.
Yeah,
right
I mean,
now.
I was having a hard time getting a hold of you for the report today, and I'm calling on your cell phone. So, all right, listen, give William Youngerman a call, and I'll give you the number if you call and lock in your price, or if you're in line, you can lock in your price from the back of the line. William Youngerman's number is 1-800-327-5010, 1-800-327-5010. His address in Boca is 150 East Palmetto Park Road in Boca on the first floor of the Bank of America building immediately east of US 1 Federal Highway on the south side of Palmetto. And his website, where you'll find his address and phone number, is williamyoungerman.com. All right, William Youngerman, we will talk tomorrow.
Okay, have a great day. Thank you.
All right, take care. All right, Steve, I got William. I'm sorry I couldn't get you in there with him, but it was, his phones are so busy, I couldn't even get him on the phone for the report hardly. But are you back with us, Steve?
Yeah, I'm with you.
I'm going to give it to you real quick. Gold is at $5,070. Silver is at $109.50. Platinum is at $2,816. And palladium at $2,077. We're in record high territory, and it's just an amazing day. All right.
2008?
What did you say?
2008 on platinum?
Platinum is $2,816. Yeah, $2,816 is platinum. I mean, I don't even know how to continue on the show. I mean, these are numbers. I'm like, what? And I'm thinking of that, of the silver being $109.50. And I've been telling you guys. Remember, he was offering the great deals on the 90% silver. And so anyway,
I hope a lot of people listen.
I know. People are jumping in their cars right now to get in line in Boca. But let me just sum up though, because we went a little long on the gold report today because we just made history, right, with the breaking $5,000 gold. I just want to sum up with this incident in Minneapolis, Minnesota. These two tragic shootings, and they're both definitely tragic. We don't want to see anyone lose their life. These people have lost their lives because of Tim Walz and the Democrats. And Tim Walz has set up the Confederate state of Minnesota. And they're going to continue to instigate these officers. And they have, and I know a lot of panicans, right? You know, you hear President Trump talk about panic. I know a lot of panicans are saying, I should pull out. President Trump should remove. If President Trump were to remove the federal agents from Minnesota,
that would be a disaster.
You would have these uprisings taking place in every blue state. All 50 states have massive deportations going on, especially California and Texas. And
are you surprised that the president has let it get this far? Because I am.
I don't see it the way you see it. You know what they're doing.
Well, I'm adopting your viewpoint for the sake of the question. I mean, I'm granting for the sake of argument that you're right.
You're talking about the Insurrection Act?
Yes.
Okay, here's the problem with the Insurrection Act. Tim Walz is believed by many, and I'm one of them, that he's a CCP advocate. He spent a lot of time in China. And he even taught school in China. Remember all this when he was running with Willie Brown's girlfriend. And
yeah, but I have a hard time accepting that as a premise.
No.
For any argument.
He is on the record praising the way the Chinese handled Tiananmen Square. He's praising Okay. Tim, with this signal chat that Fox News is reporting on today in this detailed investigative report shows this. I believe that Tim Walz and the Democrats have a Tiananmen Square reaction already set up if they do the insurrection. If they do the Insurrection Act, that means they're sitting in the Army and the Marines with military vehicles. And they have plans in place.
Well, who is the they? If you say they, if they send in...
If President Trump does the Insurrection Act, right, invokes it, and that means President Trump is sitting in the Army and the Marines. And that means military vehicles, Humvees and tanks. Tim Walz and the Democrats are, because of his Chinese experience, they are planning a Tiananmen Square response to that, meaning putting Americans in front of the Humvees, in front of the tanks.
That could be.
And the imaging of that alone is devastating. And my guess is that the Trump administration have a lot of knowledge of what they're planning on doing in a reaction to the Insurrection Act. And that's why they haven't done it, because Tim Walz wants the Insurrection Act. Tim Walz wants the Insurrection Act more than the most MAGA person in this audience, because that's when they can really blow things up. So the Insurrection Act is what Tim Walz wants, and that'll, in my opinion, and the fact that he wants it tells me that he's prepared for something, and his love affair with how the CCP handled Tiananmen Square. He's going to set his anti-ICE people up as the dissidents. Remember the guy in the that famous picture that you see, the still image of the Chinese guy in front of that tank. What the picture doesn't show you, the tank ran over that guy. Okay, that's why that's such a historic photo. The tank ran over him and killed him, and that's what Tim Walz wants to happen in Minnesota. And that's and my guess is that's why the president has not invoked the Insurrection Act, in my opinion.
So that means, if that is true, that would mean that Tim Walz has won.
No, he hasn't won anything. President Trump's not going to just let this be. He's got plans.
Well, what is he going to do? What are his options? Arrest or not arrest? Those are the two options.
No, I don't know. But I know this, that whatever he does, it'll be fast and swift. There could be, we could wake up one morning this week and find out Tim Walz is in federal custody. It happened in the middle of the night like Maduro. Something like that could happen.
Well, this is not Venezuela.
It's pretty close. Minnesota's pretty close. Well, listen, that's about all the time we have for today. Those of you on hold, my apologies. I had some difficulty getting a hold of William Youngerman because his phone's getting overloaded with people wanting to buy gold and silver at these prices. So those of you that didn't make it on today, my apologies, but we'll be back tomorrow at 6 a.m. And this is
try to make it again.
Yeah, this is a developing story, and the story hasn't even begun yet. I don't even think we're in the middle of Minnesota yet. You're listening to Florida's longest-running radio show, The Steve Kane Show, on the radio since 1977, celebrating 49 years on the radio. My name is Brian Craig. Steve Kane, of course, has been here. We'll see you tomorrow morning at 6 a.m. Thanks for tuning in. God bless America. God bless Donald Trump. See you tomorrow, 6 a.m. All right, Steve, I'll talk to you later. All right, take care. All right. Those of you that are new, make sure you subscribe. I will be back this afternoon and taking your calls, covering everything that develops today, because I expect a lot of news to happen today. I really do. The snowstorm will be cooling off and things are going to start to happen. If you're new, make sure you subscribe. If you've already subscribed, please like the video. That helps grow the channel a lot. And also, if you could take the link and share the link of the program on all your social media, and invite your friends and followers on your socials just to check out the show. That also helps a lot. And I know a lot of you have been doing that. Thank you so much. My name is Brian Craig. This is where MAGA comes.